Chapter 4:14. Wait a minute. Suddenly, Qin Ji walked out. What's wrong? Yang Dingtian said in surprise. They were about to start fighting. What kind of tricks did this woman have up her sleeves? Qin Ji walked out and faced Yang Dingtian. You just displayed the concealment mystic skill, but you just stood there and didn't move. When she said this, Yang Dingtian was shocked. It was indeed so. When he learned the concealment mystic skill and displayed it to everyone, he was indeed invisible and didn't move. If he didn't move, learning the concealment mystic skill had no meaning. You can try it here and see how long your mystic chi can support this isolated space. Qin Ji said, after entering the concealed space, try to move and see how long your mystic chi can support you. Yang Dingtian nodded. Then, he circulated his mystic chi and used the 9th grade concealment mystic skill. Immediately, Yang Dingtian entered the mysterious isolated space again and disappeared in front of Qin Ji. And in Yang Dingtian's vision, he was still in the same place and could still see Qin Ji. However, his body was enveloped by a faint blue light barrier. Inside this light barrier was the space he had stolen. Yang Dingtian started to move. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. Indeed, Yang Dingtian discovered a terrifying problem. It was fine if he didn't move after using the concealment mystic skill, it didn't consume too much of his mystic chi. But once he started to move, the consumption of his mystic chi was extremely terrifying. The faster he moved, the faster his mystic chi would be consumed. 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters, 7 meters, 8 meters, 9 meters, bang. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's mystic chi was completely depleted. The special space that enveloped Yang Dingtian exploded and Yang Dingtian appeared. Yang Dingtian's cultivation of a 6-star revered martial artist was only enough for him to move a distance of 10 meters. Only 20 steps. Yang Dingtian said, obviously, with my cultivation, learning a 9th level middle grade mystic skill is really too low. Qin Ji flattened her tender lips and said, this concealment profound skill, how many layers does it have in total? 9 levels, Yang Dingtian said. Which level should you be at now? Qin Ji asked. The 1st floor. Yang Dingtian said. In my opinion, you should at least reach the 2nd or 3rd level. Wait until you can move around 100 steps before you fight this 2,000-year-old demon spirit. That way, if anything happens, you can still escape, Qin Ji said. Yang Dingtian nodded. Thus, he dejectedly returned to the main hall on the 1st floor and started to cultivate the concealment profound skill. In the past, Yang Dingtian had learned how to raise the level of a profound skill. The key was the cultivation of mental strength. The higher one's mental strength, the more energy they could control. This way, when using profound skills, they would waste less profound chi. So under the same cultivation, the shorter the time used to release a profound skill, the more powerful it would be. Of course, if it was used in concealment profound skills, the faster one moved, the less profound chi they would use, and the longer the distance they could move. Under the holy light pillar, Yang Dingtian once again went through the spiritual trial. It was still the same escape from the underground maze. Previously on that deserted island, Yang Dingtian went through the spiritual trial in the water. This time, he cultivated under the holy light pillar, but he didn't expect the results to be even better. Previously, Yang Dingtian had to try 4 or 5 times before he successfully completed the 1st level of the spiritual scrolls trial. This time, Yang Dingtian directly entered the 2nd level of the spiritual scrolls trial. This 2nd level wasn't a palace, but a cave. From the looks of it, it was really the same everywhere. The caves were exactly the same, and the rocks were exactly the same. The difficulty of the 2nd level of the spiritual trial was 10 times harder than the 1st level. And the most terrible thing was that this time in the cave maze, there were demonic beasts blocking the way. In order to pass, they had to exterminate these demonic beasts. And the most terrible thing was that these demonic beasts looked exactly the same. The time of the first level of the trial was only 4 hours. The difficulty of the second level of the trial was 10 times that of the first level, and there were demonic beasts blocking the way. But the time was only 3 hours. The first time, Yang Dingtian only completed 5% of the trial in 3 hours. Most of the time was spent on exterminating 3 demonic beasts. And the worst thing was that these demonic beasts were each more powerful than the last. The first one was a 5-star martial venerable, the third one was a 9-star martial venerable, then there was no doubt that the fourth one was a master. The second time, Yang Dingtian still only completed 5% of the trial, because it was exterminated by the master-level demonic beast. The third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, every time after that, Yang Dingtian was exterminated by the fourth demonic beast. This directly led to the end of the spiritual trial, and it could no longer continue. However strong Yangming's cultivation base was in reality, its cultivation base would be the same in the spiritual world. With his current cultivation, he could kill a 9-star martial venerable demonic beast with great effort, but he was powerless against a master-level demonic beast. At this time, a full 10 hours had passed. However, there was an unparalleled advantage to carrying out the trial under the holy light pillar, and that was the endless spiritual power and profound qi. There was no need to stop cultivating after a few hours and wait for the spiritual power and profound qi to recover. Just as Yang Dingtian was stuck at the fourth spiritual demonic beast, a thought suddenly rang in Yang Dingtian's mind. In reality, he could use a concealment profound skill, so could he use a concealment profound skill in the spiritual trial? This way, he could directly avoid those powerful demonic beasts. During the sixth spiritual trial, Yang Dingtian directly used a concealment profound skill when he approached the fourth master-level demonic beast. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters. These demonic beasts were always sleeping. As long as you passed by them without waking them up, they would not attack. Then, Yang Dingtian appeared and continued to move forward. When he completed 8% of the maze, he encountered another demonic beast blocking his way. This demonic beast was a 2-star master-level demonic beast. Yang Dingtian turned invisible again and slowly passed by it without waking it up. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters. Next, when he was 10% of the maze, he encountered another demonic beast. This time, it was a 3-star master-level demonic beast. Yang Dingtian turned invisible again. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, Yang Dingtian exhausted his profound skill and directly appeared. He woke up the demonic beast and was directly killed. Thus, Yang Dingtian entered a new spiritual trial. However, this time, Yang Dingtian used a concealment profound skill to walk 14 meters, a full 4 meters more than before. Yang Dingtian was pleasantly surprised to find that he could directly cultivate a concealment profound skill in the spiritual trial. Thus, Yang Dingtian did not tire of the spiritual trial. Time passed by minute. 20 hours. 20 hours. 30 hours. 75 hours. 3 days passed. Phew. Yang Dingtian rushed out at the last moment. Finally, he completed the hellish second floor of the maze. In the second floor, Yang Dingtian moved extremely slowly and used a concealment profound skill to advance a total of 150 steps. He avoided 20 strong demonic beasts before escaping from the maze. After escaping the second floor of the maze, his eyes suddenly lit up and he directly entered the third floor of the spiritual trial. Yang Dingtian did not even look and directly woke himself up and left the spiritual trial. Then, under the holy light pillar, Yang Dingtian used the shortest amount of time to absorb the battle profound qi. Then, he used a concealment profound skill and began to move. 10 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps, 50 steps, 90 steps, 100 steps, boom. Yang Dingtian's eyes lit up and the energy barrier around his body suddenly trembled. Yang Dingtian successfully entered the second floor of the concealment profound skill and could quickly move 100 steps. This result might not be enough to do other things, but it should be enough to enter the fourth floor of the spiritual trial. Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji once again entered the fourth floor of the trial. Qin Ji just entered and was immediately captured by Mo Ling. The chattering Mo Ling was still like a madman. He tightly grabbed Qin Ji and looked at Qin Ji's eyes with incomparable greed and infatuation. He wanted to completely devour her in one bite. The evil spirit energy in her body had a fatal temptation to it, but it was incomparably fearful and did not dare to take a bite. Just like this, the world's most terrifying and powerful demonic beast foolishly grabbed Qin Ji and crazily chattered non-stop. In order to facilitate Yang Dingtian's escape, Qin Ji was under the light screen. Yang Dingtian used the concealment profound skill and directly entered the battle room. Although he knew that Mo Ling couldn't discover him, Yang Dingtian's heart was still beating wildly, afraid that he would be discovered by Mo Ling. Once discovered, there would only be one outcome. Yang Dingtian would be torn apart and devoured alive. But reality proved that the concealment profound skill was heaven-defying. Yang Dingtian came behind Mo Ling. This ugly and powerful demonic beast did not discover him at all. It was still holding Qin Ji's delicate body, chattering and struggling in pain. Yang Dingtian looked at Mo Ling's right leg and raised the nearly emperor-grade soul sword high. Holding the soul sword high, Yang Dingtian did not slash down for a long time. He was praying that his soul sword would be useful against Mo Ling's claw. One had to know that this Mo Ling's claw was the hardest and most terrifying thing in the world. Even the peerless grade soul sword could not leave any trace. Yang Dingtian's treasure sword was infinitely close to an emperor-grade soul sword. I only hope that this sword can cut off 0.1 millimeter. In this way, 1,000 slashes will be enough to cut off one of Mo Ling's legs. Yang Dingtian prayed in his heart. Please don't cut down. This Mo Ling's leg was not damaged at all. Then Yang Dingtian would be trapped here alive. Whether it succeeds or not, it all depends on this moment. Yang Dingtian secretly said in his heart. Kill! Yang Dingtian roared in his heart. He aimed at Mo Ling's right leg and slashed with all his strength. Dang! A loud sound and sparks flew. This ear-piercing sound seemed to pierce people's eardrums. Yang Dingtian had used all of his strength in this sword attack. Not only the strength of his body, at this time, Yang Dingtian's pure strength was at most tens of thousands of kilograms. He also converted his most powerful profound qi into pure physical strength, so this sword strike was more than tens of thousands of kilograms. Puff! A huge amount of energy suddenly rebounded, like a giant hammer of tens of thousands of kilograms, smashing into Yang Dingtian's chest. Yang Dingtian spurted blood from his mouth. Under normal circumstances, Yang Dingtian's body directly flew dozens of meters away. But at this time, he could only hit the inner wall of the isolated space. Suddenly, the powerful force was even more inexhaustible. All of it raged in Yang Dingtian's body, rampaging. Yang Dingtian vomited blood. He only felt that his internal organs were about to be displaced. Qin Ji clearly saw a treasure sword appear out of thin air and cut Mo Ling's leg. Then, a cloud of blood mist suddenly appeared out of thin air. Then, her eyes quickly looked at Mo Ling's right leg. This was what Yang Dingtian was most concerned about. Could his soul sword, which was close to the emperor grade, hurt Mo Ling's leg? As a result, Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji were both astonished. Yang Dingtian's goal was 0.1 millimeters. Like this, 1,000 slashes would be enough to cut off Mo Ling's leg. If he couldn't reach that level, he could slash 10,000 times with his sword. Even so, Yang Dingtian might need to vomit blood countless times and take more than 10 days to completely cut off Mo Ling's limbs. But the result had caused Yang Dingtian to be completely shocked. Mo Ling's entire right leg flew out directly. Yes, this sword strike was not 0.1 millimeters, nor 0.01 millimeters, but directly cut off Mo Ling's entire leg. The 2,000-year-old Mo Ling's leg was very thin, about 4 or 5 centimeters in diameter. However, Yang Dingtian cut it off with one sword strike. Yang Dingtian looked at the sword in his hand in disbelief. This is too sharp, too amazing. This so-called emperor-grade sword was simply too shocking. Does that mean that even if someone made the entire Mo Ling's armor, his sword could easily pierce through it? Yang Dingtian had imagined his sword to be very powerful, but its sharpness and power were far beyond Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji's imagination. However, this was not the most surprising thing. The most surprising thing was that after Mo Ling's right leg was cut off, it did not have the slightest reaction. Yes, it was not as angry as imagined. It just looked down at its right leg, and its expression seemed to be a little confused. Then, it went into a dilemma again, continued to stare at Qin Ji's eyes, and continued to chatter. Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji were both shocked. Was this still the Mo Ling that made humans tremble in fear? Was this still the Mo Ling that required several great masters, dozens of great masters, and hundreds of cannon fodder to destroy? How could it be so strange? It was as if the leg that was cut off was not its. Perhaps, for thousands of years, their Mo Ling clan had never been directly hurt by a blade. Therefore, the Mo Ling clan was only sensitive to mental and energy attacks, and was almost dull to the extreme for direct physical damage. So next, Yang Dingtian faced the most delightful and also the most tedious beheading process. The second sword, Yang Dingtian cut off Mo Ling's left leg. The third sword, Yang Dingtian cut off both of Mo Ling's hands. Suddenly, all of Mo Ling's limbs were cut off, leaving only the bare arms, which had completely lost its lethality. Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji were completely stunned. How could it be so easy? Was this still the king of beasts, Mo Ling? If they knew it was so easy, why would they upgrade the concealment mystic skill? The first level was enough. After Mo Ling's hands were cut off, Qin Ji directly fell to the ground. And this 2,000-year-old Mo Ling seemed to suddenly find that its arms and legs were gone. It was still just shocked for a moment and still did not have any reaction. It still stared closely at Qin Ji, still chattering in pain, as if it did not feel anything about losing its arms and legs. Qin Ji got up from the ground and picked up the Mo Ling's limbs. Mo Ling only had its body left, and it looked even shorter, only about 1.5 feet. But its movement speed was still extremely fast. Wherever Qin Ji went, it followed. Its two eyes were always looking at her, and it was always chattering in pain. Yang Dingtian, what do you think we should do next? Qin Ji said, you just cut off its limbs, making it lose its lethality. But you haven't killed it yet. If you don't kill it, you can't pass. Yes, at this time, the Mo Ling was like a poisonous snake with its teeth pulled out. It had no attack power, but how to kill it? Its energy barrier was still intact. 3 great masters and 20 masters would need 2 hours of bombardment before they could break it apart. If it was Yang Dingtian and the others, they would probably need 2 to 3 years of bombardment before they could break it apart. Yang Dingtian and Qin Ji returned to the hall on the first floor again. Everyone was surprised. Song Chunhua said, why is it so fast, still not enough? Yang Dingtian threw the Mo Ling's limbs to Little Princess Vulture and said, here you go. Little Princess Vulture caught the Mo Ling's claws and suddenly let out a cry of disbelief. It was less than a quarter of an hour since Yang Dingtian went down, and he already cut off the Mo Ling's limbs. Come down with me and take a look. Yang Dingtian said. Everyone followed Yang Dingtian down to the training room on the second floor. Then, everyone was dumbfounded. What's going on? Only a 2,000-year-old Mo Ling with a bare body was left in the combat room. It was still chattering and cursing in pain. Vulture, is the Mo Ling very smart? Yang Dingtian asked. I think it should be very, very smart, but my great-grandfather said that the Mo Ling is the stupidest in the world. Little Princess Vulture said, great-grandfather said that it only has 2 instincts, which are to tear and devour. When those great masters and great masters bombarded its energy shield with mystic fire, did it react? Yang Dingtian asked. It didn't react. Vulture said, no matter how many people hit it, it won't run away. It will only stare at the most delicious prey, rush up, tear it directly, and then devour it with mystic fire. Therefore, we need to use spirit masters to interfere with it so that it can't distinguish which prey is the most delicious, so it can only kill randomly. Therefore, we need a lot of cannon fodder. My great-grandfather said that even at the moment it was killed, it was still tearing and devouring. Yang Dingtian suddenly realized that the Mo Ling was indeed an energy creature that was close to instinct. It had no intelligence. It only had 3 instincts, which were to lock, tear, and devour. No wonder it didn't react when Yang Dingtian cut off its limbs. It was also no wonder that evil ways couldn't control them to become magic pets because they almost had no intelligence. However, what should they do next? How should they kill this Mo Ling that had lost its threat? Qin Ji suddenly smiled and said, Yang Dingtian, how do you want to deal with this Mo Ling that has lost its fighting power? If you break its energy shield normally, I guess it will take you 2 or 3 years. Of course I want to know. Yang Dingtian said. Qin Ji giggled, pointed to her bright red lips and said, it's very simple, kiss me and I will tell you. Everyone suddenly trembled. Chapter 4:15. The soul condensation was stored in a transparent jade box. It was a snow-white energy light that condensed into a head without a face, and it was surging slightly. The so-called soul condensation usually accompanied the thousand-year demon spirit. Each thousand-year demon spirit had torn apart, refined, and devoured countless lives and souls. So thousands of years later, these tragically dead souls gathered around it and followed it closely. Some of these souls were humans, some were other creatures, so they didn't have a clear face. Of course, this soul condensation only followed the demon spirit and couldn't do anything. It was an incomparably powerful soul energy, but it was ownerless. So, no matter how weak the soul was, it could enter this soul condensation and instantly make its soul stronger. So, this soul condensation was the most suitable for Dongfang Minmi. Moreover, this thing was impossible to buy because when a demon spirit was killed, the soul condensation around it would dissipate instantly. Yang Dingtian took the box and was about to open it. Don't open it, it will dissipate directly. Little Princess Vulture said. Then how can I save people with it? Yang Dingtian, how can I resurrect a person? Of course you can't do it yourself. You need a wizard or celestial spirit master to guide that person's soul out of the body and inject it into the soul condensation to possess it. Only after entering the soul condensation can the box be opened and it won't dissipate. You also need a wizard or celestial spirit master to guide this resurrected soul into the body again. Little Princess said. You are a celestial spirit master, can you do this? Yang Dingtian asked. Of course, who do you think I am? Little Princess Vulture said proudly, by the way, what level of martial artist do you want to resurrect? Grandmaster level. If there is no accident, he should be the #1 expert in the world. Yang Dingtian said. Ah! Suddenly, Little Princess Vulture was stunned and quickly shrank back. Everyone was shocked and looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. Brother, you want to resurrect Sect Master Dongfang? Song Chunhua was pleasantly surprised. City Lord Yang, you can revive Sect Master Dongfang. It was no wonder that Song Chunhua was so excited. The Tiando League was too weak right now. There were only 3 to 5 great grandmasters left. However, none of them were truly on the side of the Tiando League. They had either joined the evil ways or were sitting on the fence. Dongfang Minmi was the world's #1 player and a symbol of the Tiando League. If he could step up, it would be a great boost to the Tiando League. Yang Dingtian said, my master's soul is still there, but it's extremely weak and is in a deep sleep at all times. His body has already turned into ashes. I only have Martial Uncle Ling Qingchen's corpse. He was also a great grandmaster, but he had just advanced to the great grandmaster realm not long ago. His cultivation was still much weaker than my master's. Then, Yang Dingtian looked at Vulture and asked, girl, can you operate it in this situation? Little Princess Vulture hurriedly waved her hand and said, I can't, I definitely can't. I can't do it when he's already a great grandmaster. Now that he's lost his body, I can't do it even more. Moreover, I've only heard of reviving people whose souls have been scattered, but I've never heard of reviving people who don't even have a body. Then who can do it? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't know who can do it. The only person in the world who can do it is my great-grandfather. There shouldn't be anyone else. Little Princess said, but I also don't know if my great-grandfather can revive your master. He's never tried it before. Then give it a try, Yang Dingtian said. My great-grandfather definitely won't agree. He's a very eccentric person, Little Princess Vulture said. Yang Dingtian had long heard of Wolingzi, who was more than 200 years old. Although he wasn't from the evil ways, his personality was even more eccentric. His reputation wasn't much better than that of the evil ways. Moreover, the entire Vulture Palace was eccentric and conservative to the extreme. It all depends on the effort, Yang Dingtian said. Then he put the soul-condensing shadow into the space ring. Reviving his master was a top priority. It was also directly related to the survival of the Tiando League. However, that had to wait until he got out of the secret realm. The most important thing now was the trial on the 5th level. However, there was still one treasure that hadn't been distributed before the trial on the 5th level. The Ring of Protection. This was a ring that shone with a black and red light, mysterious and powerful. This ring should be forged from the dark magic gold extracted from the demon's spirit claw, Yang Dingtian said. It must be. Little Princess Vulture said, the most amazing thing about the dark magic gold in the demon's spirit claw is not that it's invulnerable, but that it can resist any energy damage. Does the dark magic gold's ability to resist energy damage come from the demon spirit's energy shield? Yang Dingtian asked. It must be. Little Princess Vulture said, it's just that after its energy shield is destroyed, the dark magic gold in the demon spirit's limbs will have a much lower resistance to damage. Therefore, even if 40 or 50,000-year-old demon spirits are killed to create a dark magic armor, its energy shield won't be as good as that of a 200-year-old demon spirit. This ring is so small, I don't know how effective its energy shield is. Let's try it and we'll know. Yang Dingtian put it on his finger and said to Qin Huayu, Senior Brother Qin, use your Xian skill to attack me. Qin Huayu nodded and suddenly released a ball of flame. The terrible flame formed a sharp knife, fiercely piercing Yang Dingtian in an instant. At this time, the ring on Yang Dingtian's finger lit up. Suddenly, the powerful flame turned into ashes, became smaller and disappeared in an instant. Qin Huayu's Xian skill attack was completely swallowed by the Ring of Protection. Chunhua, come with Senior Brother Qin, Yang Dingtian said. Song Chunhua nodded and pulled out her treasure sword. Then, Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua used all their strength to release powerful Xian skills. Both of them released 8th grade Xian skills. What Qin Huayu released was Layering Draw, what Song Chunhua released was Phoenix Blood. Qin Huayu's Layering Draw instantly ignited all the energy in the surrounding air. Like an air bomb, it instantly sucked up all the energy within a few hundred meters. Boom 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 boom. Then, after countless energy was ignited, layer by layer, it pressed inside. Energy squeezed energy, creating a violent explosion. This Xian skill was quite astonishing. It used the explosion of all the energy in the surroundings to condense it into a single point. It could be said that even experts 2 grades higher than Qin Huayu would not be able to withstand it. And Song Chunhua's Phoenix Blood was countless terrifying fire attribute energy that turned into thousands of threads, penetrating into every orifice. After entering the body, it directly ignited all the blood in the opponent's body. Once hit by the Phoenix Blood Xian skill, the only result was to be burned to death by one's own blood. All the blood in the body would explode, turning into raging flames. Song Chunhua rarely used this Xian skill, because it was too cruel and tyrannical. Of course, the reason why she used it on Yang Dingtian was because she could withdraw it at any time. Instantly, an incomparably magnificent scene occurred. All the energy in the air around Yang Dingtian was ignited, and then fiercely squeezed and condensed towards him. His body's surroundings became brighter and brighter, and the temperature rose higher and higher. And Song Chuanhua's phoenix blood Xian's skill, countless gorgeous threads of flame, crazily twisted, and were about to fiercely drill into Yang Dingtian's body. Even though they knew that this was a fake attack, everyone was still shocked. Little Princess Vulture even covered her eyes, not daring to look. But then, a shocking scene occurred. That ring of protection suddenly lit up, and a light barrier instantly enveloped his entire body. When the countless energies hit the light barrier, they directly turned into ashes. Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu's Xian skill energy quickly disappeared without a trace. And Yang Dingtian was completely unscathed. Looking at the ring on his hand, it only dimmed a little. Everyone immediately looked at this ring in disbelief. Yang Dingtian said indifferently, "Among the treasures in this fourth layer of the secret realm, this ring is the most shocking." Yes, it was too heaven-defying, able to resist all damage. Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu were both close to the master level, but even with all their strength, they could not do anything to this ring's energy barrier. They really did not know where the limit of this ring was. Compared to the concealment Xian skill, the universe ring, and the lightning rune from before, this ring of protection could be said to be much more tyrannical. But, who should this ring be given to? Yang Dingtian fell into a deep dilemma. Song Chunhua had the lightning rune, and Qin Huayu had the universe ring. Even though it was for him to use it to propose, and his goal was a Xian flame. Logically speaking, Yang Dingtian owed the little princess. He promised to give her the concealment Xian skill scroll, but in the end, he did not give it to her, and Yang Dingtian learned it himself. This ring of protection should be given to her. However, Yang Dingtian directly gave the limbs of the 2,000-year-old demon soul on the fourth layer to Vulture. Later, after extracting the soul of the demon soul, Yang Dingtian took out the demon soul eye and the demon soul heart. Vulture did not want these two things. She could have as many as she wanted. However, the demon soul fog was incomparably precious. Moreover, this was a 2,000-year-old demon spirit, and her 1,800-year-old demon spirit. After returning to Vulture Palace, Willingzi injected the two demon souls into her demon soul fog cloak, which could double the distance of her flash. The dark devil gold in the limbs of the 2,000-year-old demon soul was almost comparable to 4 or 5 ordinary 1,000-year-old demon souls. Therefore, the little Princess Vulture's trip was not in vain. But after all, she was a child with a simple mind. She felt that she must be upset that she did not get a single treasure. Moreover, to resurrect Dongfang Minmi, she still needed her great-grandfather's help. "Vulture, I'll give you this ring of protection first," Yang Dingtian said, "but I don't know if it's right to give it to you. As I said before, that interspatial ring is of no benefit to our cultivation. This ring of protection is even more so. Take this ring and ask your great-grandfather. If he says you can have it, take it. If he says you can't have it, don't take it." "Okay, okay." The little Princess Vulture nodded desperately. She hurriedly took the ring of protection and put it on her thumb. Then she said to Song Chunhua, "Sister Chunhua, hit me, hit me." Song Chunhua's face turned cold. She stretched out her hand to Vulture and said, "Give the ring back." "What do you want it for?" "City Lord Yang has other uses for it." The little Princess Vulture hurriedly covered her mouth and said, "No, Yang Dingtian already said that he would give it to me first." "No, City Lord Yang has other uses for it," Song Chunhua said. "What uses?" the little Princess Vulture asked. Yang Dingtian waved his hand and said, "It doesn't matter. Let her play with it first. I originally wanted to give it to City Lord Earth Splitting so that he would hand over the 4th stage of the pig-slaying swordsmanship and join our battle group. But it's still too early to do that." Yes, it's still too early," the little Princess Vulture said. Then she hurriedly hid behind Yang Dingtian, afraid that Song Chunhua would ask her for it again. Song Chunhua was not in a good mood. She glared at the little girl and said coldly, I'll deal with you when we get out. Alright, everyone, go to the 5th floor of the trial. It's also the last trial in the Despair City secret realm, Yang Dingtian said. Yang Dingtian and the others arrived at the 5th floor of the secret realm. They were shocked by the scene in front of them. The 5th floor of the trial room was completely different from the previous 4 floors. The previous trial rooms were filled with a futuristic aura. They were filled with a sense of unreality and magic. There were even some places that had a sense of technology. However, the 5th floor of the trial room was just a small stone cave. There was only a stone table and 2 stone stools inside. There seemed to be a chess game on the table. Moreover, it was a chess game that had reached the middle. At that moment, the stone giant's voice sounded again. The 5th floor of the Despair City secret realm is now open. Trial character, kill the fire god. Trial reward, mystic fire. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. They looked at Qin Huayu in surprise. Mystic fire, the reward was actually mystic fire. This time, their purpose in coming to the demon territory was to find the mystic fire for Qin Huayu. Therefore, they had been tricked into this Despair City secret realm by Qin Ji with a fake mystic fire map. It was a pleasant surprise. It could be considered as a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. However, they did not dare to have too much hope in finding the mystic fire. They did not expect that the reward for the 5th floor of the trial would be a mystic fire. Of course, the trial mission was to kill the fire god. Just the name alone was enough to shock him. The fire god was able to become the final boss of the 5th floor of the trial room. He should be much stronger than the previous 4 bosses. For example, the 2,000-year-old demon spirit on the 4th floor was actually more shocking than the previous 3 bosses combined. If it were not for Qin Ji's existence, even if a grandmaster led the team, they would probably be killed instantly. Then, it was imaginable how powerful the 5th boss, the fire god, was. Do you want to activate the 5th floor of the trial mission? The stone giant asked slowly. Everyone held their breaths. They were extremely nervous. They really did not know how powerful and terrifying this fire god was. Activate, Yang Dingtian said. Anyway, if they encountered an especially terrifying demon beast, they could just leave first. Trial begins, the stone giant said slowly. Suddenly, the light in the stone cave gradually lit up. Then, a door embedded in the stone wall slowly opened. A woman walked out leisurely. Yang Dingtian and the rest could vaguely see that there was an exquisite boudoir inside. This woman held an oil lamp in her hand. She walked to the stone table and placed the oil lamp on the table. Then, she sat down on the stone stool on the right. Everyone stared at this scene in a daze. Especially Yang Dingtian, it was as if he was struck by lightning. This was because this woman was extremely beautiful. Her figure was slim like a willow. She was really the most fairy-like woman that anyone had ever seen. This woman's skin was like ice and her bones were like white jade. She was devastatingly beautiful. Most importantly, she really looked like Dongfang Bingling to the extreme. The moment she walked out, Yang Dingtian's mind went blank. He almost blurted out Dongfang Bingling's name. It was too similar. Moreover, it was the fairy Dongfang Bingling before she was demonized. It was the same coldness, the same purity, and the same ethereal like a fairy. Moreover, it was the Bingling after she was aroused. She was no longer so aloof and cold. In her coldness, there was kindness and gentleness. Come in. She waved at Yang Dingtian. Her voice sounded exactly like Bingling. It was like ice breaking and a clear stream. However, there was also gentleness in her coldness. Everyone looked at each other and walked in with blurred expressions. The little Princess Vulture looked at her with complete admiration. My name is Bing Ling, the woman said softly, Bing as in ice and Ling as in spiritual energy. Nice to meet you. Even their names were the same. Who knows how to play chess? Come and play a game with me. Bing Ling said softly. Yang Dingtian sat down opposite her. He was still staring at her, his face still stiff. Why are you looking at me like that? Bing Ling asked. Yang Dingtian shook his head gently and said, because you look like someone. Really? Bing Ling tilted her head and said. Her eyes were really like gems, full of spiritual energy. Looking at her face up close, it was even more pure and flawless. It was so beautiful that it took people's breath away. After looking at you up close, your facial features are actually different. But I don't know why, but I still feel like they are very similar. It even feels like they are exactly the same. Yang Dingtian said, maybe it's because they are both women at the top of the pyramid. Plus, they have the same ice skin and jade bones, and the same noble and pure. So even if their faces are different, they still give people the same feeling. It seems that you love that woman very much. Bing Ling smiled and said, do you know how to play chess? Yang Dingtian looked at the chess game on the table. It was Go, and it was a endgame. Yang Dingtian vaguely saw this endgame before. But he couldn't remember it clearly. I know how to play it. Yang Dingtian said. Well, then let's play chess and talk at the same time. Bing Ling said. Okay. Yang Dingtian said. Then, the two of them played chess face to face. The reward for the 5th level of the trial is Mystic Fire. You know that, right? Bing Ling said. Yang Dingtian nodded. Then do you know where these mystic fires come from? Bing Ling asked. Yang Dingtian said, it should be from the space-time crack opened in the mystery realm, and it came from tens of thousands of miles away. It didn't come from the mystery realm. Yes. Bing Ling said, in fact, there is only one mystic fire in this period of time. It was born in tens of thousands of miles of the demon area, and it's called the demon spirit demonic fire. It will bloom in about 13 days. So, you have a total of 13 days to pass this level. After passing this level, you can get this heaven and earth mystic fire, the demon spirit demonic fire. Suddenly, everyone's spirits were lifted. They knew there was a mystic fire, but they didn't expect it to be a heaven and earth mystic fire. But it was normal. The demon area looked so strange, so it was normal that the mystic fire born there was no worse than the million spirit demonic fire. Chapter 4:16. Speaking of which, there were many mystic flames that were unstable. For example, mystic flames had once appeared in the northwest continent and even in the vicinity of Cloud Heaven City. However, this kind of mystic flame was a one-time use item. After it was taken away, it would disappear forever. There was another type of mystic flame whose position was fixed. For example, the million spirit demonic fire in the Dongli grassland would bloom again after 200 years. And this kind of fixed mystic flame was of a very high grade. At the very least, it was an earth-grade mystic flame. However, the places where these Xian flames were born were all very, very special. The higher grade heaven and earth mystic flame was, of course, even more fixed. For example, the Dongli grassland, where the million spirit demonic flame was born, had buried hundreds of millions of lives there. In addition, the north side was the edge of the world, and the most bizarre and magical celestial Red Sea, which gave birth to the heaven and earth mystic flame. Another place was a world of ice and snow. Of course, what was in front of him was the demonic territory that spanned tens of thousands of miles. The Devil Domain had the most complicated history, the most bizarre experiences, and the most bizarre environment. Therefore, the birth of a heaven and earth mystic flame was not strange at all. Miss Bing Ling, how many heaven and earth mystic flames are there in this world? Yang Dingtian asked. 9, the ice spirit said. What are the 9 heaven and earth mystic flames? Yang Dingtian asked. Your million spirit demonic fire is ranked 7th. The ice spirit said, the fire in your body is Yang fire. Yes, the Yin flame is inside Dongfang Bingling's body. However, is the Yin flame also called the million spirit demon flame? Yang Dingtian asked. Of course, These countless wraiths were also divided into male and female before they died. The ice spirit said, but in general, Yang fire is still the main force because most of the people who died in the half-human race's war were males. My million spirit demonic flame is ranked 7th? Yang Dingtian asked. Yes, the ice spirit said. Then what about this demon spirit demon fire that we want to fight for? Yang Dingtian asked, what is its ranking? 4th. Said the ice spirit. Everyone's breathing quickened. The demon spirit demon flame was ranked even higher than the million spirit demon flame. Could it be that it was even stronger than the demon spirit demon fire? Does the demon spirit demonic flame have anything to do with the demonic beasts and demon spirits? Every heaven and earth level Xian flame has a special effect. What is the effect of the demon spirit demonic flame? Yang Dingtian asked. You'll have to find out for yourself, the ice spirit said with a smile. Then what are the other 7 heaven and earth mystic flames? Yang Dingtian asked. There's also the 8th ranked thunderous flame, the ice spirit said. Yang Dingtian was stunned. The 7th ranked thunderous flame had been obtained by Zhu Hongxue. What else? Yang Dingtian asked. There's also the 6th ranked demonic flame of annihilation, the ice spirit said. And the 5th ranked ice lotus serene flame. This flower should be with the netherworld sect master, Wu Yu. Song Yu had obtained the ice lotus serene flame subsidiary flame. And the 3rd ranked netherworld ghost flame, Bing Ling said. This one is with my great-grandpa. The little princess vulture said, however, he obtained this mystic flame more than 190 years ago, so it's been a long time since it bloomed. That's why great-grandpa said that he had already reserved it for me. Everyone glared at Vulture. We know you're a rich second generation, but you don't have to show off like that. The other 2 rich second generations, Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua, couldn't stand it anymore. That's good. You don't have to fight with Qin Huayu for this mystic flame, Yang Dingtian said. Instantly, the little princess vulture's face turned bitter. She gently slapped her face, blaming herself for showing off too much. The 9th ranked raging flame, the ice spirit said. No one had heard of this flame. The 2nd ranked void splitting flame. Still, no one had heard of it. The 1st ranked chaos spirit flame. The ice spirit immediately listed all the 9 heaven and earth mystic flames. Chaos spirit flame, void splitting flame, netherworld ghost flame, demon spirit demonic flame, million spirit demonic flame, nirvana demonic flame, thunderous flame, ice lotus serene flame, and raging flame. Among them, the 3rd ranked netherworld ghost flame, the 5th ranked ice lotus serene flame, the 7th ranked million spirit demonic flame, and the 8th ranked thunderous flame already had owners. Even if we don't get the demon spirit demonic flame, it's impossible for others to get it. Yang Dingtian said, does it mean that there are only 4 heaven and earth mystic flames left in the world? No, there are only 3 left, the ice spirit said. The 6th nirvana demonic flame was taken by someone more than 10 years ago. Then, the ice spirit said, but you can say that there are 4 because the netherworld ghost flame will bloom again in a year. Hearing that there were only 4 heaven and earth mystic flames left, everyone's eyes were filled with yearning. Among the remaining 4 mystic flames, 3 were ranked in the top 3, and 1 was ranked 9th. It could be seen how powerful the top 3 mystic flames were. Then, the little princess said in Vulture, among the masters in the world, Dongfang Minmi, Zhu Qingzhu, and Qin Wanchou don't seem to have a heaven and earth mystic flame. Qin Huayu said, what's so strange about that? To get a heaven and earth mystic flame, luck is more important than strength. My father has an earth mystic flame. Except for the fact that it doesn't have any special attributes, its attack power is not weak at all. Then, Qin Huayu said to Yang Dingtian, actually, I only need 1 mystic flame. I don't care about other flames. It's too extravagant to give me a heaven and earth mystic flame. Yang Dingtian said, in such a short time, where do you want us to find a mystic flame for you? At this time, the ice spirit said with a smile, Mr. Yang, you're only talking about other mystic flames. Don't you ask how to get the demon spirit demonic flame, or how to pass the 5th level of the trial? Yang Dingtian and the others immediately felt embarrassed. They hadn't even gotten the demon spirit demonic flame yet, but they were already drooling over other mystic flames. Yang Dingtian stood up and bowed to the ice spirit. "Excuse me, please enlighten me. Because our Despair City's secret realm doesn't have a mystic flame as a reward, and we can't transfer the mystic flame into the secret realm. Therefore, we need me to be the guide and send you to the devil prison cave through the space-time crack. Because the demon spirit demonic flame is at the end of the devil prison cave," the ice spirit said. "In other words, the 5th level of the trial isn't in the secret realm?" Yang Dingtian asked. The ice spirit nodded. "In other words, our lives will be in great danger at that time?" Yang Dingtian asked. The ice spirit nodded again. "What will we encounter in the devil prison cave?" Yang Dingtian asked. "I don't know." The ice spirit said, "Because the devil prison cave is nearly 10,000 miles away from us, and it's hundreds of miles underground. Our understanding of the situation there is from a very long time ago. But I can be sure that when we reach the end of the devil prison cave, there will be a demon fire demonic phoenix guarding the mystic flame because it wants to devour the mystic flame. Therefore, if we want to get the mystic flame, we must first eliminate this demon fire demonic phoenix." Demon fire demonic phoenix? Hearing the name, it reminded him of the heaven fire demonic phoenix guarding the earth fire. At that time, the heaven fire demonic phoenix was already tied up and could only breathe fire. Therefore, Yang Dingtian used the fire immunity chilling pearl to go there. Is this demon fire demonic phoenix powerful? How is it compared to the Millennium Owl in the 1st level of the secret realm? Yang Dingtian asked. "It's not the same." The ice spirit shook her head and said, "Don't try to defeat the demon fire demonic phoenix the same way you defeated the Millennium Owl. The Millennium Owl has a physical body, so your sword can stab into its body and kill it. This demon fire demonic phoenix is 90% composed of flames. Weapons can't kill it, so you can only use energy attacks. Moreover, the Millennium Owl was teleported here from hundreds of thousands of miles away, so it doesn't have a strong will to fight with you. However, this demon fire demonic phoenix will kill any intruders for the demon spirit demonic fire. It won't give you any chance. Then how powerful is this demon fire demonic phoenix?" Yang Dingtian asked. "It has already swallowed more than 10 mystic flames and cultivated for thousands of years." The ice spirit said lightly, "I estimate that one of its breaths can kill you dozens of times from 100 feet away. Or to be more clear, this demonic phoenix's energy should be dozens of times stronger than the Millennium Owl, but it doesn't have its weakness." Suddenly, everyone was suffocating. How could they fight? The Millennium Owl was not strong, but its concentrated lightning had to be aimed. Of course, when it released its ultimate skill, the space was filled with lightning walls. Such an attack was all-pervasive, but the energy was scattered. It was not enough to kill Yang Dingtian more than 100 meters away. This demonic phoenix's breaths were enough to kill Yang Dingtian and his group dozens of times. How could they fight? "So, as I said before, don't compare it with the Millennium Owl," the ice spirit said. "The Millennium Owl is extremely rare because it's electric type, but it's not necessarily very powerful among demonic beasts. Also, don't compare the demon spirit with this demon fire demonic phoenix. The demon spirit's characteristics are too obvious. It's almost invincible, but as long as you find its weakness, it can be easily killed. Moreover, when a Millennium demon spirit encounters the demonic phoenix, its energy shield will explode after 2 or 3 breaths. So, what I want to say is, don't look at demonic beasts with the eyes of humans. The demon spirit is invincible among humans, and its entire body is extremely precious. However, among demonic beasts, especially those with energy bodies, the demon spirit is nothing. Indeed, if there was a team of a few great masters or dozens of great masters, they would rather meet a 1,000-year demon phoenix than a 1,000-year devil spirit. After all, the Millennium demonic phoenix couldn't kill them instantly, but the Millennium demon spirit could. However, if the Millennium Demon Spirit encountered the Millennium Demonic Phoenix, it would be killed. Then, what's the flaw of this demonic phoenix? Yang Dingtian asked. There's no flaw. Even if there is a flaw, you can only find it yourself, the Ice Spirit said. But we'll be killed before we can even get close, so this trial becomes meaningless, Yang Dingtian said. So, of course, you can give up, the Ice Spirit said. In fact, for the past few thousand years, most people have given up on the fifth trial. Then, when the mirage ends, you can leave. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was stunned. They could give up, but he couldn't. When the mirage ended, Cloud Sky City would be finished. So, you need someone who's very good at chess, the Ice Spirit said. This is a very, very difficult chess game. It's almost unsolvable. Among the thousands of possibilities, there's only one way to win, and the rest are all losses. As long as you win against me, I can help you defeat this demonic phoenix. You? Yang Dingtian said in shock. Yes, me. The Ice Spirit said. I'm a creature that has lived for thousands of years. With my help, destroying that demonic phoenix will be very easy. At least, as long as you're within 1 zhang of me, the demonic phoenix's breath won't be able to kill you. Ah, you're not human, the little Princess Vulture said sadly. To think that I worship and admire you so much. For a creature that has lived for thousands of years, does it matter if I'm human or not? The Ice Spirit said gently. Alright, Yang Dingtian, are you here to play chess with me? As long as you win, I can help you pass the fifth trial. If you lose, sorry. I'm only responsible for teleporting you to Devil Prison Cave. This time, Yang Dingtian had no choice but to observe this chess game carefully. Previously, Yang Dingtian had only picked up a chess piece and said perfunctorily. After talking for almost an hour, he still hadn't placed a chess piece. The others were all holding their breaths as they looked at Yang Dingtian. Because they had already seen the game and couldn't understand it at all. After seeing the game clearly, Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu were shocked. Because this was actually a game of Go. After Yang Dingtian impersonated Shen Lang and invented Go, this game immediately became popular in the northwest Qin city. Soon after, it became popular in the entire northwest mainland. Currently, the #1 Go expert was Qin Chichi, and the second was Qin Huayu. As for Yang Dingtian, the inventor, any Tom, Dick, or Harry in the Qin city could defeat Yang Dingtian. Qin Mengli wasn't very good at Go, but she had already lost interest in torturing Yang Dingtian. She didn't want to play with Yang Dingtian anymore. Therefore, if he had known that it was Go, Yang Dingtian wouldn't have sat down and let Qin Huayu play. Unexpectedly, after watching for a while, Qin Huayu's expression became extremely bitter. He looked at Yang Dingtian and shook his head. Brother, I don't even need to try. I will definitely lose, Qin Huayu said. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian had no choice but to observe the game carefully again. Soon, Yang Dingtian was overjoyed. When he was on Earth, Yang Dingtian was a terrible chess player. He didn't play much. However, he liked to watch famous Go games and endgame games from ancient and modern times. Of course, studying these Go games wasn't to improve his Go skills. It was to fool people and act cool. He would play a endgame that he would definitely lose and find a girl to play. Then, he would put himself in a dead end and fight to survive, completing an impossible mission. After that, he would make the girl look at him with admiration. This was Yang Dingtian's happiest moment. Yang Dingtian didn't know how many endgame games like this one were in his mind. Yang Dingtian definitely didn't remember what this Go game was called. However, Yang Dingtian knew exactly how to solve it. This endgame game was the most tragic one in Yang Dingtian's memory. It was also the game that Yang Dingtian used to fool girls the most. Therefore, Yang Dingtian quickly placed a piece. Seeing Yang Dingtian place a piece, Bing Ling's expression was calm. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He used a very friendly ridicule to ridicule Yang Dingtian's poor Go skills. He actually played so carelessly. Seeing Yang Dingtian place a piece, Qin Huayu slapped his forehead and said, "It's over." He knew that Yang Dingtian was terrible at Go, but he didn't think it was that bad. This was a move that only someone who didn't know how to play Go would make. However, when Yang Dingtian placed a dozen pieces, Bing Ling's expression changed slightly. Then, he glanced at Yang Dingtian. At the 20th piece, Qin Huayu's expression also changed completely. When Yang Dingtian placed the 35th piece, Qin Huayu cheered. As for Bing Ling, he looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. It had been many, many years, and no one had ever won. However, Yang Dingtian actually won by playing so carelessly. After the shock, Bing Ling's beautiful face smiled. He said gently, "Okay, you've conquered me. I'll help you on the 5th level of the trial." Then, Bing Ling got up and walked to the wall of the cave. Suddenly, a stone door opened. It was a long passageway that was bottomless. No one knew where it led to. "Follow me," Bing Ling said. Yang Dingtian and the others followed. In the deep passageway, they followed behind the ice spirit and kept walking. Although they couldn't see their fingers in front of them, Bing Ling's fragrant body emitted a faint glow. After walking for an unknown amount of time and how deep they went, a distorted energy array appeared in front of them. This should be the space-time crack of the Despair City's secret realm. After passing through this space-time crack, they would reach the Demon Domain cave that was thousands of miles away. "Come," Bing Ling said, and then walked through the space-time crack. Everyone saw Bing Ling's graceful body disappear before their eyes. They exchanged glances and then followed her through the space-time crack. When they passed through it, they felt very strange. It was as if they were illuminated by a special kind of light. Their bodies felt a little cold. Then, Yang Dingtian's brain lost all senses for a short time. His mind was completely blank. Of course, Yang Dingtian soon regained his consciousness. But at this time, they were already tens of thousands of miles away in the Demon Domain cave. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. This was the Demon Domain cave. It was really like the 18 layers of hell. There were blood-red flames everywhere. Countless caves, like a maze.
"Which path should we take?" Qin Huayu said, "This is just like a maze." "Yes, this is a maze." Bing Ling said, "Of course, you have to decide which path to take. However, I want to say that there are tens of thousands of possibilities here, but there is only one path that leads to the end of the demon domain where the mystic flame was born." Immediately, everyone looked at Yang Dingtian. All along, Yang Dingtian had been the one making the decisions, and he had given the perfect answer every time. But now, Yang Dingtian actually closed his eyes. "If we walk casually like this, what will the result be?" Qin Huayu asked. "In a few years, we won't be able to reach the destination, and we won't be able to return." Bing Ling said, "Otherwise, how could it be the final trial of the Despair City's secret realm? It must be extremely difficult, and no one can pass it." "Then in history, has anyone passed the 5th trial?" Qin Huayu asked. Bing Ling's body trembled. Her beautiful eyes revealed a complicated expression. She nodded and said, "There was one person, but it was a matter of a very long time ago. The rest of the people couldn't even pass through this maze. Even after the mirage opened, they couldn't return." Everyone exclaimed. "If they were trapped here, what would they do?" "Yang Dingtian, are we going to continue?" Song Chunhua asked. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes and said, "Don't worry, I know how to go through the maze. We can go straight to the end." What a coincidence. Yang Dingtian had just walked through this maze in his mind. It was exactly the same.
Chapter 417. What's going on? Qin Huayu asked in surprise. Previously, in order to kill Mo Ling, I learned the invisibility scroll. In order to improve the level of the invisibility mystical skill, I went through the trial of the mental scroll. That mental scroll happened to be a maze. I had already passed the first and second maze trial a long time ago. So what I went through just now was the third level trial, and the maze inside was exactly the same as the one in front of me. Yang Dingtian said, I really didn't expect such a coincidence. It seems that the person who wrote this mental scroll must have come to this devil prison cave. That should be the case. Everyone cheered. Then, Qin Huayu asked, by the way, were there any demonic beasts blocking your way in the maze? Yes. Yang Dingtian said. How many? Qin Huayu asked. Many, many. Yang Dingtian said. How powerful? Qin Huayu asked. From here to the end of the maze, the correct path is about 3,000 steps. There are 39 forks, and each fork has a demonic beast. Yang Dingtian said, the demonic beast at the first fork is a 5-star martial venerable. The demonic beasts at each fork are stronger than the previous ones. Sometimes they are 1 level higher, sometimes they are 2 levels higher. Immediately, everyone lowered their heads to calculate. In the end, they came to a conclusion. Even if each demonic beast was only 1 level higher than the previous ones, the 26th demonic beast had already broken through to the 9-star martial grandmaster realm. Then, what are the remaining 13 demonic beasts? How do they fight? Immediately, everyone looked at each other. Yang Dingtian looked at Bing Ling and said, we already know the correct path. If it's just me, of course, I can go through invisibility. But there are so many people here, so will you help? Bing Ling smiled and said, of course. Yang Dingtian led the team and officially set off. After walking less than 100 steps, they were faced with 3 forks. The 3 looked exactly the same. There was no difference at all. Let's go to the third one. Be careful of demonic beasts that come down from the wall. Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian led the way. Gotcha. Sure enough, a huge rock beast came down from the wall, waving a huge hammer and smashing towards everyone. Its body was only about 4 to 5 meters tall, but when it walked, everyone felt that the ground beneath their feet was shaking. This was a 5-star martial revered rock beast. Yang Dingtian was about to step out and blast it to death with the mystic fire. Don't worry. Little Princess Vulture suddenly ran out. Then, she walked in front of the rock beast, stretched out her hand, and closed her beautiful eyes. The rock beast was stunned for a moment. Then, without caring about anything else, it raised its huge hammer and was about to smash the little princess into meat paste. At this time, Vulture's delicate body suddenly lit up slightly. Then, the surrounding rocks all lit up with a green light. The soul elements of countless rocks were all extracted and condensed in Vulture's palm. Then, she pressed her hand down. Immediately, all of the rock soul elemental energy drilled into the rock beast's body. At this time, the rock beast's hammer was less than a meter away from her head. Suddenly, it stopped. Then, all of the rock beast's violent aura disappeared. It quietly put down its hammer and stood behind little Princess Vulture, becoming her battle pet, Celestial Spirit Master. Ice Spirit suddenly let out a sound of disbelief. Yes. Little Princess Vulture said proudly, awesome, right? Everyone was stunned and couldn't help but want to praise her. However, when they saw her proud and arrogant look, they immediately swallowed their words of praise and revealed a trace of indifference. I hate you guys to death. Little Princess Vulture said with annoyance because she didn't get any praise. Okay, you're awesome. Yang Dingtian praised her perfunctorily, let's continue. Then, Yang Dingtian led a few people and a rock beast and continued forward. After another 50 steps, there was another fork in the road. There were a total of 2 forks in front of them. Let's go to the first one. This time, the monster is a resentful spirit. Yang Dingtian said, 7-star martial venerable, Chunhua, you try and test the power of the thunder rune. Yes. Song Chunhua said. Subsequently, Yang Dingtian led the group and walked through the second fork. Suddenly, everyone's vision turned black. Then, the dark light in front of them began to condense and finally condensed into a distorted resentful spirit. This was originally a very beautiful woman, but after turning into a resentful spirit, her face became distorted and became very terrifying. Why do you let me suffer such torture? The whole world is full of evil, I want to kill all of you. The resentful spirit screamed and suddenly shot a dark light arrow. Song Chunhua took a step forward and used her sword to block the dark light arrow. Bang! Her body shook slightly, and the sword in her hand seemed to be contaminated by the dark light arrow and turned slightly black. However, it quickly returned to its original state. Bang! Then, she gathered all the chi in her body and slashed out a sword light. Suddenly, a fiery red sword ray and a shocking bolt of lightning shot out violently. The resentful spirit was shocked and immediately wanted to dodge. Its speed was extremely fast, and it actually dodged Song Chunhua's sword light. But the lightning was faster, and almost instantly, it hit it. Ah! The resentful spirit let out an ear-piercing scream, and then the distorted light suddenly became even more distorted. Song Chunhua suddenly blasted out a ball of flame and hit the distorted resentful spirit. Boom! The flames suddenly exploded. Suddenly, the resentful spirit turned into ashes, and its bones were shattered. In the terrifying scream, it completely dissipated. Wow! So powerful! Everyone exclaimed in admiration. This lightning rune was truly amazing. At that time, Yang Dingtian really spent a lot of effort to defeat this resentful spirit, and it took more than half an hour. This resentful spirit was very fast, and ordinary Xian skills couldn't hit it at all. In the end, Yang Dingtian had no choice but to use the thunder attribute Xian skill, Devil Sky Split, and use lightning to blast it away. However, Yang Dingtian had to blast out dozens of lightning bolts before he was able to disperse it. Song Chunhua, in just 2 moves, destroyed it. The power of a 9-star revered martial artist was indeed several times stronger than Yang Dingtian. Previously, Yang Dingtian had the heaven-defying Xian Qi of the Soul Sword, and now Song Chunhua also had it, although hers was not a soul sword. Yang Dingtian led everyone forward, and after another 80 steps, they came to a fork. In front, there were 5 forks, leading to different directions. Let's go to the first one. Yang Dingtian said. Next, he wanted to talk about the demonic beasts, but who knew that the little princess vulture said, "Oh right, Yang Dingtian, how did you know which path to take? Was it luck? Or, did you try every path once? Silly girl." Yang Dingtian said, "If you walk every path once, you won't be able to walk out in 3 to 5 years. It's calculated through a very special calculation method. This kind of spiritual trial is to train the brain's amazing logical ability, calculation ability, and the ability to simulate space. Generally speaking, after more than 10 mistakes, you can get the formula of the maze. If there are few detours, hundreds of calculations will be enough. If there are many detours, thousands of calculations won't be enough. Well, it's very mysterious. You deliberately make us not understand what it means, and then make us feel very powerful." The little princess vulture pursed her lips. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was speechless. However, he was surprised to find that the little girl actually came up with a primitive explanation in a different world. Senior brother Qin, the next demonic beast, is a 9-star revered martial artist. It's a hell demon rat. It's very, very fast and can spit out a kind of miasma arrow, so you have to hold your breath. Otherwise, even if you are not shot, you will faint. Yang Dingtian said, "The 2 of us will kill it, and the others will wait at the back." "Why, can't we kill it together? My rock beast happens to be the nemesis of rats, it's not afraid of the miasma." The little princess vulture said. "Idiot, every trial opportunity is very precious." Song Chunhua said. Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu had just walked past the fork. GG. Sure enough, a rat suddenly drilled out from the side of the cave wall. It was about a foot long and drilled out of the hard rock like mud. Its speed was extremely fast, like lightning. It instantly rushed in front of the two. This was a 9-star revered martial artist demonic beast. Just as it appeared in front of Yang Dingtian, it spat out 2 miasma arrows. Miasma was not a poison, but a kind of sewage and miasma. It was not a poison, but it was more poisonous. At least, there were clear solutions for many poisons, but the miasma was extremely complicated and there was no solution at all. This rat had lived in the dirtiest place for hundreds of years, and the miasma in its body was extremely complicated and thick. Boom, boom. Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu suddenly smashed out 2 flames, directly blowing up the miasma arrows. GG. This demon rat revealed a proud scream. Yang Dingtian knew why it was like this, because its evil plan had succeeded. After the miasma was blown up, it would be everywhere, pervasive, and people would definitely be poisoned. However, Yang Dingtian had already experienced its power. Previously, in the spiritual trial, he had been tricked by this trick for the first time, and was killed by it in the spiritual trial. This time, the two of them only held their breath and locked their pores. Seeing that the exploded miasma had no effect on them, the demon rat suddenly screamed crazily. Then, like lightning, it rushed towards the two of them. This was its second unique skill. Its lightning-like speed coupled with its terrifying fangs and claws. Although its speed was not like the demon spirit's flash, it was still extremely fast, like lightning, completely impossible to defend against. In addition, its teeth were extremely terrifying. As long as it got close, the outcome would be very tragic. That ending was very tragic. It could bite and claw you hundreds of times in half a second. Therefore, in half a second, all the vital blood vessels in your body would be bitten off, your heart would be directly dug out, and your skull would be opened. One had to know that this was a 9-star martial venerable monster. Its pure strength was not something that Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu could resist. Therefore, they must not let it get close to them. In the spiritual trial, Yang Dingtian was approached by it, and then bitten to death in an incomparably tragic manner. Of course, everything in the spiritual trial was fake, and it all happened in the mind. Therefore, it was also a fake death. Now, everything was real. If he was really bitten to death, he would really die. Therefore, Yang Dingtian must be very, very careful. Of course, in the spiritual trial, Yang Dingtian also found a way to restrain it. That's right, it was still lightning. Paw! Yang Dingtian released a lightning profound skill, demonic heaven splitting. Immediately, a bolt of lightning struck out. The demon rat's speed was very fast, but it was not as fast as lightning. In an instant, it was struck by lightning. Yang Dingtian was a 6-star martial venerable, so this lightning could not kill the demon rat, or even seriously injure it. However, it could paralyze its nerves and greatly slow down its speed. The demon rat that had slowed down was no longer a threat. Then, Qin Huayu stepped forward and killed it. However, although the beast's speed had slowed down, it was still faster than Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu. Yang Dingtian only stood to the side and let Qin Huayu kill it alone. Every time the rat's speed recovered slightly and threatened Qin Huayu's life, Yang Dingtian would release another bolt of lightning. Immediately, the beast's entire body was paralyzed and its speed slowed down again. Soon, the beast understood what was going on. Bastard, you bunch of despicable humans, how dare you make fun of me and make me accompany this ugly human to death? Immediately, the demon rat was furious. Swoosh 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 swoosh. It suddenly spat out filthy miasma arrows. Yang Dingtian was behind it and spat out flames to burn the filthy miasma arrows. However, this beast was simply too fast. Bang bang bang. Immediately, Yang Dingtian was hit by 4 filthy miasma arrows. Immediately, a disgusting and filthy energy entered his body, instantly polluting Yang Dingtian's muscles and blood vessels and causing necrosis. Then, the necrosis quickly spread. Yang Dingtian's vision turned black, and he felt dizzy. He was about to lose consciousness in an instant. This beast was really fucking powerful. While his mind was still clear, Yang Dingtian immediately released lightning to paralyze the beast, so that it would not bite Qin Huayu to death. Then, Yang Dingtian immediately organized the mystic fire and billions of resentful spirits to kill the filthy energy in his body one by one. That's right, these filthy energies were countless bacteria and countless lives. They were not just pure energy. Therefore, if the people in this world were hit by the filthy miasma arrows, there was nothing they could do except cut off the contaminated areas. Moreover, these things spread very quickly. Therefore, if the people in the chaotic world were hit by the demon rat, they would basically die. In the entire chaotic world, the most disgusting demon beast was definitely the hell demon rat. Because this abnormal creature shriveled up rapidly and was deadly. However, it did not have anything valuable on its body. It could not be touched from head to toe. Once touched, one would be poisoned. It seemed that whether it was on Earth or in the chaotic world, this rat was a good-for-nothing pest. Soon, with the help of the mystic fire, countless resentful spirits bravely killed all the filthy energy that invaded Yang Dingtian's body. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian gradually regained his freshness, and his contaminated flesh gradually recovered. At this time, Qin Huayu was in a very dangerous situation. This beast had already started to fight desperately because it had been hit by Qin Huayu's sword a few times. Its body was covered in black and red filthy blood. Therefore, it, who was in a frenzy, quickly recovered its speed. Even if it was hit by Qin Huayu's sword a few times, it would still bite him to death. Pa pa pa. Yang Dingtian suddenly consumed most of his mystic qi and released 3 devil sky-splitting lightning. The 3 lightning bolts instantly hit the demon rat. Immediately, it let out a horrified scream. Its body began to twitch, and its speed was extremely slow. Qin Huayu went forward and used all his strength to slash a few times. He directly chopped off this beast's small head. This hell demon rat was filled with disbelief. Its limbs twitched as it died. Yang Dingtian condensed the mystic fire to the extreme and shot it at the demon rat's corpse. Suddenly, this beast was completely burned to ashes. Not even ashes were left. This beast had an unknown amount of filth and germs in its body. Without burning it to death at the highest temperature, this beast was simply a huge source of pollution. Yang Dingtian suspected that if this beast was placed on Earth, it would be enough to plague a small city. Before, I heard that this beast was the most terrifying and disgusting thing. I didn't believe it, but now I really do. Qin Huayu said, if it wasn't for your lightning mystic skill, I would have been bitten to death dozens of times. But even so, after fighting with this beast, all the profound energy in my body has been exhausted. I'm about the same. Yang Dingtian said. Then what level is the next demonic beast? Qin Huayu asked. Master level. It's an undead demon bug. It's very disgusting. Yang Dingtian said, its speed is about the same as this beast, but the key is that it can burrow into the ground and can't be killed at all. If you cut it in 2, it will turn into 2. If you cut it in 4, it will turn into 4. My God, why are there so many abnormal demonic beasts? I've never encountered such demonic beasts before. Qin Huayu said. After all, this is a few hundred miles underground. It's a completely different world from the surface. Yang Dingtian said. Do you think we can kill it? Qin Huayu asked. It's difficult. Yang Dingtian said, a master-level martial artist. When the 5 of us are at our peak, we can barely fight against it and protect ourselves from death. However, a master realm demonic beast would be very difficult to deal with. If it's an undead demonic beast, then it's really. It feels really strange. Qin Huayu said, look, we killed the Millennium Owl, the 2,000-year-old demon spirit, and the Void Spirit Illusion demon in the secret realm. Each of them is heaven-defying. The demonic beasts in this devil prison cave aren't even enough to carry their shoes. However, we can destroy those thousand-year-old heaven-defying demonic beasts in the secret realm, but we can't deal with the master-level demonic beasts in this devil prison cave. Yang Dingtian said, because the secret realm is a separate world. It's a real but illusory world. And now, we are already outside the secret realm. It's a naked, real, and dangerous world. The demonic beasts in the secret realm are all arranged by the secret realm itself. Although they are extremely powerful, they also have absolutely fatal flaws. Once you find a flaw, you can kill anyone with a low cultivation level. And these ordinary demonic beasts don't care about any flaws. You can only use the most ordinary method to kill them. Of course, we are dumbfounded. Yes, the most powerful, most dangerous, and most heaven-defying method is nothing but reality. Qin Huayu sighed and said, then, should we go back and recover our celestial qi first? No hurry. Yang Dingtian said. Yang Dingtian returned to the fork in the road. Wow, Yang Dingtian, didn't you say there was a mouse in front? How did you guys end up in such a sorry state? It's really embarrassing. Two high-level martial venerables can't even beat a mouse. The little princess vulture pouted. Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu could only pretend that they didn't hear anything. To be honest, anyone would love a beautiful woman. Especially a beautiful woman like Vulture who had a noble status and amazing talent. Especially the little princess's exquisite face and devilish figure. So, any man who saw the little princess Vulture would have thoughts of making a move. But after normal contact, it was guaranteed that most men would lose all their thoughts. Because this little girl's mouth was sharp and her brain was wild. Her thoughts had no bottom line. And her brain was naive, only fantasizing about a peerless handsome man like Zhu Hongxue. In short, very few men would have thoughts about this kind of girl who hadn't grown up and didn't have any femininity. Except for perverted lolicons. If I knew, I would have let my rock beast go. If I were you, I would have hit my head on this stone wall. Ah! Before the little princess Vulture could speak, she cried out in pain. Because Song Chunhua directly grabbed her hair and lifted her up in the air. Song Chunhua was more than 180 centimeters tall, which was more than 20 centimeters taller than the little princess. So, she directly lifted her 1 foot off the ground. The little princess Vulture was an expert, but it was still very painful to be lifted by her hair, especially when Song Chunhua only grabbed a handful of her hair. Song Chunhua, let go of me, or I won't let you go. The little princess Vulture cried out. Song Chunhua let go of her hair and directly grabbed her 2 delicate ears and lifted her up. Ah, pain, pain, pain. Let go, my ears are going to fall off, they're going to fall off, Sister Chunhua, I know I'm wrong, I'm sorry. After Song Chunhua put her down, she immediately shrank behind Yang Dingtian and used her small hands to cover her 2 red and burning ears. It's all your fault. The little girl sneakily kicked Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian could only pretend that nothing had happened. He couldn't scold the little princess Vulture for her nonsense, and he also couldn't stop Song Chunhua from being serious. Next, Yang Dingtian continued to lead people down. After 100 steps, they came to the 4th fork. This time, it was even more exaggerated. There were a total of 8 forks. Let's go to the 5th one, Yang Dingtian said, there's a master-level monster in front of us. I don't know what it's called. Its body was like an iron-threaded worm, and it was difficult for ordinary swords to cut into it. It had the characteristic of being invulnerable. Of course, it was definitely not as strong as the Millennium Owl's shell. Any random bloody black gold sword could cut it. But it also has the characteristics of a leech and an earthworm, which is that it can't die. No matter how many pieces you cut it into, it won't die. So, I call it the immortal demon worm. Then how did you kill it in the spiritual trial? Vulture asked. Yang Dingtian blushed and said, I couldn't kill it. I was killed by it every time. All the monsters that blocked the way were directly invisible. At this time, the little girl pursed her lips and said, "That invisibility scroll was originally mine." Yang Dingtian looked at the ice spirit and said, "Miss Ice Spirit, my sword is extremely sharp. Later, I'll go invisible and cut this immortal demon worm into countless pieces. Then, we'll split up and kill it. If we're in danger, I hope you can help." The ice spirit said, "Are you sure you want my help?" "Of course," Yang Dingtian said. "Well, I'll help," the ice spirit said. "Thank you," Yang Dingtian said. Then he said to the little princess, "Girl, let your rock demon follow me." "Why?" the little girl said. "To lure the immortal demon worm out," Yang Dingtian said. "Oh." The little girl gave the order, and the rock demon followed in a daze. Yang Dingtian immediately went invisible and immediately stole a part of the space, then hid in that space. The rock demon continued to walk forward in a daze. Soon, it reached the corner. Whoosh! Suddenly, the 2-meter-long immortal demon worm drilled out and crazily attacked the rock demon. This immortal demon worm looked very disgusting and scary. It was red, only 3 or 4 centimeters thick, but 2 meters long. There was no distinguishing feature on its body, and it looked exactly the same everywhere. Yang Dingtian was about to cut it with his sword. But its speed was too fast. Whoosh 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 whoosh. It crazily shuttled back and forth on the rock demon's body. In an instant, the rock demon was riddled with holes. Fortunately, it was a rock demon, otherwise, it would have been dead. In just a second, the 4 or 5 meter tall rock demon's body was drilled with at least hundreds of holes, from the soles of its feet to the top of its head. There was no doubt that this immortal demon worm killed people in this way. In an instant, it drilled through people and turned them into meat paste. This way of dying was too terrifying. And although this rock giant did not know pain, it knew rage. The furious rock giant raised its hammer and crazily smashed the holes, causing the whole hole to tremble, but it could not even touch the immortal demon worm's side. However, Yang Dingtian was also in a difficult situation because this abnormal immortal demon worm was only drilled crazily inside the rock demon's body, and there was no chance for him to use his sword. But soon, Yang Dingtian's chance to use his sword came. The immortal demon worm quickly wrapped around the rock demon's head, trying to strangle the rock demon's neck. Finally seeing it all appear, Yang Dingtian used his sword as fast as lightning. Whoosh 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 whoosh. Yang Dingtian's sword was very fast. In 1 second, he made dozens to hundreds of sword strikes, which was enough to cut the immortal demon worm into hundreds of pieces. In this way, the threat would be reduced, and its strength and speed would be greatly reduced. But, Yang Dingtian's plan fell through. Yang Dingtian only had time to make a second sword strike, cutting the immortal demon worm into 3 pieces. Then, one of the pieces immediately wrapped around Yang Dingtian's sword. The enormous power actually caused Yang Dingtian to be unable to control his artifact sword. Yang Dingtian was about to use the profound fire to burn it alive. But then, a terrible force suddenly passed through the sword and hit Yang Dingtian's body. Boom! Yang Dingtian spurted blood. The profound veins in his whole body were violently shaken, and countless cracks appeared. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels seemed to have been displaced in an instant. In an instant, Yang Dingtian lost all his fighting strength. Puff! One of the immortal demon pet's broken body suddenly spat out a red liquid and sprayed on the huge body of the rock demon. Almost in an instant, the entire body of the rock demon was completely dissolved, turning into a pile of thick liquid. However, what was even more terrifying was that the 3 pieces of the immortal demon worm quickly wrapped around Yang Dingtian's sword, and along the blade, they swam toward Yang Dingtian's isolated space like lightning. Then, Yang Dingtian saw the most horrifying scene in history. The 3 pieces of the immortal demon worm suddenly opened their eyes at Yang Dingtian. Tens of thousands of eyes opened at the same time, releasing a faint green light. This scene was really creepy. Yang Dingtian was horrified to find that they were not without eyes. They had countless eyes, and there were eyes all over their bodies. Each eye was a small green dot. Their speed was extremely fast, and they were about to drill into Yang Dingtian's isolation in an instant. At this time, Yang Dingtian's 5 viscera and 6 bowels were shaking. His whole body was in severe pain and he vomited blood. Could it be? My life will be scattered here. Yang Dingtian was shocked and frantically urged the profound fire in the depths of his qi sea. Boom! Suddenly, the raging profound fire spread all over his body. The immortal demon pet, just as it was about to drill into Yang Dingtian's body, the part that entered the flame was instantly burned to ashes. Not good. At this time, Qin Huayu, Song Chunhua and the others outside exclaimed and rushed in together. Suddenly, they saw a horrifying scene. Yang Dingtian's whole body was surrounded by flames, and the 3 terrifying insects suddenly wrapped around the sword and climbed up. Just as Yang Dingtian was about to burn the insects to death. Suddenly, an incomparably huge amount of profound qi energy bombarded over. Boom! Yang Dingtian's profound veins and qi sea were completely suppressed in an instant. The flames on his body were all extinguished. Then, 2 of the 3 pieces of the immortal demon worm shot towards Yang Dingtian like lightning. The other one broke into countless pieces in the air, forming dozens of black dots, and suddenly shot towards Song Chunhua and the others. They were not Yang Dingtian and did not have the profound fire. As long as these abnormal insects got close to them, they would definitely die. Moreover, it was the cruelest way to die. Their whole body would be drilled full of holes. Could it be that everyone was going to die here? The ice spirit's footsteps never stopped. They were completely shocked and horrified. This was truly heaven-defying. Gradually, everyone became numb to it. They didn't have to worry about which checkpoint they had to walk to because they had Yang Dingtian to lead the way. They didn't have to be afraid of walking. The demonic beasts along the way, no matter how strong or weak they were all instantly killed by the ice spirit. Because the speed was so fast, Yang Dingtian couldn't figure out what level these demonic beasts were at. Finally, they killed all the way. When they reached the 37th checkpoint, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but ask, Miss Ice Spirit, what level was that demonic beast just now? I don't know. According to your human classification, it should be above the 9-star Great Grandmaster level, the Ice Spirit said. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian opened his mouth, swallowed his saliva, and didn't say anything. Above the Great Grandmaster level was the Saint level. However, a Saint-level demonic beast was insta-killed by her with a raise of her hand. Then what level was she at? Then what was the point of human cultivation? Oh, don't worry. These demonic beasts haven't broken through the Saint level. According to your human classification, they may be far beyond the 9-star Great Grandmaster level, but they will never be able to touch the Saint level. The Ice Spirit said, the Saint level, whether for humans or demonic beasts, is a natural moat. Only demonic beasts with top-notch talent and wisdom can reach the Saint level. Then, the Ice Spirit looked at Yang Dingtian. As long as you break through the half-Saint level, you can easily insta-kill all creatures below the Saint level like me, whether they're humans or demonic beasts. Remember, the Saint level is a natural barrier. According to your human classification, the energy required to break through from the 9-star Great Grandmaster level to the Saint level is far more than the energy required to break through from the Enlightener level to the 9-star Great Grandmaster level. It can be said that without talent, without the help of heaven and earth, it's impossible to break through the Saint level. Then, the Ice Spirit said, in fact, your human classification is very vague and not standard. For example, 400 years ago, many of you claimed to have entered the Saint level, but in fact, they were only half-saints at best. For example, many experts, who you call half-saints, are actually unbounded Great Grandmasters. In short, Yang Dingtian, remember, don't be imprisoned by your human thinking at all times. You have to see things outside of your human thinking, the Ice Spirit said. For example, when you break through to the 9-star Great Grandmaster level, there will be many, many breakthroughs. At that time, many people think that it's the saint level. Actually, it's not. Even if you break through countless times, you won't be able to enter the saint level. Every breakthrough of a saint-level expert will cause a huge change in heaven and earth. It's very clear and obvious. Yang Dingtian was surprised. This was the first time he had heard of such things. But there was no doubt that what the ice spirit said was the truth. "Thank you for your advice, Miss," Yang Dingtian said with a bow. "Your future is limitless." "I don't need to say anything," the ice spirit said softly. "Let's continue." Then, Yang Dingtian continued forward. In front of them was the 38th checkpoint. There were 13 forks here, and only one was correct. The correct one was the third fork. Yang Dingtian led the team over. At this time, no one cared about what monsters were blocking the way ahead. As long as it wasn't a demon phoenix, the ice spirit would kill them all. There was no need to care. However, as soon as Yang Dingtian took a step forward, he suddenly felt his hair stand on end. No, he still needed to care. Inadvertently, he put everyone in the most dangerous situation. Because in front of them was a demon spirit. A demon spirit whose body size was comparable to the one in the trial room. It was at least 1,000 years old. It was incomparably ferocious and ugly. As soon as Yang Dingtian took that step, it appeared out of thin air 100 steps away. It squatted on the ground and chattered endlessly, cursing in pain. Previously, in the spiritual trial, Yang Dingtian had been invisible, so this demon spirit didn't appear at all. However, this time, Yang Dingtian didn't go invisible, and he had the ice spirit's protection, so he walked over with his life intact. He didn't expect to walk into a dead end. Yang Dingtian knew best how powerful the demon spirit was. And the key was that Qin Ji didn't follow. When Yang Dingtian saw the demon spirit, he was first shocked, then immediately warned everyone to escape. Although the ice spirit was heaven-defying and powerful, Yang Dingtian didn't think that she could deal with the demon spirit. The demon spirit was too heaven-defying. There was nothing that could stop the demon spirit from flashing, and no body could stop the demon spirit from tearing. However, there was no doubt that it was too late. Yang Dingtian saw the demon spirit cursing on the ground at first glance, then instantly flashed in front of Yang Dingtian. It was completely instantaneous, without the slightest time difference. Its pair of green eyes suddenly stared at Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian's divine sense shattered in an instant. His mind was completely blank, and he lost all consciousness. There was no resistance, no ability to resist. Then, its claws were about to tear Yang Dingtian into meat paste in an instant. The whole process was very fast. Song Chunhua didn't even see it clearly, let alone rushing out to save him. The little princess vulture didn't even have time to scream. Just when Yang Dingtian was about to turn into meat paste and his identity was shattered. Suddenly, the space instantly froze. Yang Dingtian and that Imo Ling were sealed in ice while they were alive. It was still the ice spirit. Then, with a brush of her jade hand, Yang Dingtian directly thawed. With the fastest speed, he turned around and fled. Everything just happened so fast that he didn't even have time to react. At this time, the frozen demon spirit began to struggle, and cracks began to appear on the incomparably solid ice. The ice spirit frowned slightly and said, "I didn't expect that there would be a 1900-year-old demon spirit here. Is there any trouble?" "Yang Dingtian, if there is trouble, we will go back as fast as we can. I have a companion on my side, she specializes in restraining demon spirits and can easily destroy it. I know, the woman with evil spirit energy in her body." The ice spirit said, "It is a bit troublesome. But no need, I will try it myself first. If it doesn't work, you can bring that woman here." Crack! In an instant, the demon spirit broke free from the ice. Yang Dingtian was immediately horrified and said to the ice spirit, "Don't take the risk, I will go find Qin Ji now, it will be very, very soon, at most a quarter of an hour." After saying that, Yang Dingtian then turned around and ran back. The ice spirit waved her jade hand, and a mass of black ice instantly sealed the demon spirit's head. Suddenly, the demon spirit was like a headless fly, unable to see anything, desperately jumping around. It desperately waved its claws, tearing the black ice on its face. However, the black ice was simply a mass of energy, its claws couldn't do anything to it at all. Then, everyone saw that the ice spirit began to shoot ice arrows wildly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a total of 99 ice arrows were shot, and it took about half a minute. Then, this heaven-defying and invincible demonic spirit directly died. The demon spirit eye turned into a gem, and the demon spirit heart also solidified. Everyone was stunned again. Yang Dingtian was completely stunned. He had just run a dozen steps when he was stunned by the way the ice spirit killed the demon spirit. It turned out that the extra effort she said was just the time it took to drink a mouthful of tea. She said that if she couldn't do it, she would find Qin Ji to help. It was a complete excuse. Others needed a few great masters, dozens of great masters, hundreds of martial venerable cannon fodder to fight the demon spirit for a few hours, but she killed it alone in half a minute. It turned out that the so-called trouble was that she couldn't kill it instantly like before. This kind of strength had completely broken through the sky, beyond the imagination of everyone present. This demon spirit's corpse seems to be useful to you, hurry up and put it away, I sealed its energy and didn't let it escape. Yang Dingtian said. Then, the little princess vulture rushed out like flying, and drilled the brand new demon spirit's corpse into the coffin behind her. Now that there were 3 demon spirits' corpses inside, it should be very crowded. This time, her harvest was really big. Maybe her great-grandfather could really create a heaven-defying demon spirit armor for her. However, she was not as excited as before. Even if she wore the demon spirit armor, she still couldn't run rampant in the world. If she met someone as abnormal as the ice spirit, she would be killed instantly. However, there shouldn't be anyone as abnormal as the ice spirit in the world above the ground. Therefore, she should be able to run rampant in the world with the demon spirit black armor. Suddenly, she became excited again. The ice spirit turned to look at the crowd and said, "Okay, next is the demon fire demonic phoenix. Everyone should be careful, it is a demonic beast at the half-saint level, perhaps far stronger than all the demonic beasts you have seen or heard. Don't be more than 3 meters away from me, or I can't protect you." Suddenly, everyone was excited. They came to the last checkpoint and turned the corner. There was no fork in the road here. After this corner, they would reach the end of the devil prison cave, where they would meet this demonic beast at the half-saint level, the demon fire demonic phoenix, the most powerful creature they had ever met. Everyone's heart pounded. As long as they killed this demon fire demonic phoenix, they would get the 4th-ranked heaven and earth level mystic fire. Chapter 419. They walked past the last fork in the road. It was the end of the devil prison cave, the place where the devil spirit fiend flame was going to be born. There would be a destructive devil fire fiend phoenix guarding this mystic flame. However, when Yang Dingtian and the rest walked past this corner, they were completely shocked. They didn't see the destructive devil fire fiend phoenix, nor did they see the majestic scene that they imagined. It was just a small cave. There was a phoenix inside, but it was only about 2 feet in size. It was red and lying on the ground motionlessly. Everyone was disappointed and couldn't help but look at the ice spirit. This is the legendary destructive devil fire fiend phoenix. However, the ice spirit's expression became extremely serious. Halt! Suddenly, a hoarse and arrogant female voice came from the cave. Since we are here, we can't stop. The ice spirit said indifferently. I have to give these humans an explanation. Humans. The small phoenix on the ground suddenly opened its eyes and looked at Yang Dingtian. This flame already has an owner. If you retreat, you can still keep your life. Otherwise, you will be turned into ashes. Don't think that female creature can really protect you, and don't think that she will really protect you. Yang Dingtian bowed and said, "Sorry, Senior Demon Phoenix. We really need this mystic flame. In these few thousand years, you have already swallowed so many. Waiting another 200 years is nothing. However, we humans have short lives. We can't wait another few hundred years." "Humph. The owner of this mystic flame is me. Why should I give it to you?" the demon phoenix said coldly. "Besides, you already have the million spirit fiend flame in your body. Why are you still so greedy? I am not asking for the mystic flame for myself. I am asking for it for my friends." Yang Dingtian said, even he himself is not doing it for the mystic flame. He is doing it for the survival of the Northwest continent and even the entire chaotic world. "Don't talk about this. I have nothing to do with you humans. You humans are despicable and greedy. It is better if you all die," the demon phoenix said coldly. "I will give you a moment. Leave my territory immediately. Otherwise, I will turn you into ashes." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My apologies, Senior Demon Phoenix. Yang Dingtian then led everyone into the cave. Phew, instantly, his anger soared to the sky. Flames soared into the sky. Everything around Yang Dingtian, be it the ground, the rocks, or the cave, everything had turned red and started to burn. The surrounding temperature rose rapidly, reaching the point where it could burn everything to ashes. Almost instantly, Xiaomu fainted and died. Then, almost at the same time, Bing Ling waved her hand. Suddenly, a blue light screen enveloped Yang Dingtian and the others. Everyone felt a chill run down their spines. That terrifying heat instantly disappeared without a trace. Rumble, then, the heavens and earth shook. The ground began to crack, and everything in the surroundings began to melt and collapse. The entire infernal cavern began to tear apart. Then, Yang Dingtian and the others watched helplessly as the stone walls and mountain in front of them turned red. Huff! The entire mountain suddenly flew up. It turned out that all the surrounding rocks and the huge mountain in front of them were all the body of the demon fire phoenix. Just now, Yang Dingtian's so-called hut only walked into the front edge of its claws. After a burst of heaven and earth, Yang Dingtian's vision in front of him suddenly became empty. It was an endless abyss, one couldn't see the top and bottom. Yang Dingtian and his group were standing on a protruding platform in midair. In front of them, there was an endless abyss. Hundreds of miles deep. Hundreds of miles wide. They didn't know, but anyway, it was endless. It gave people the feeling that even if several cities were thrown down, it couldn't fill this abyss. The demon fire phoenix flew higher and higher, farther and farther. Finally, Yang Dingtian saw its full appearance. Everyone held their breaths in that instant. They couldn't imagine that a monster could be so big. Compared to it, the Millennium Owl was like a child. This burning demon fire phoenix was so big that Yang Dingtian couldn't calculate its size at all. Because, when it was thousands of meters away from him, Yang Dingtian still couldn't see its full appearance. Despicable female creature, the one who wants to kill me is you, not these lowly humans. At this time, the demon fire phoenix made a man's deep voice again, with the same arrogance. This demon fire demon phoenix continued to rise. It was only when it was a few thousand meters in the air that Yang Dingtian was able to see its full appearance. This was hundreds of miles below the ground, if it was on the ground. Then this demon phoenix was enough to cover the sky. It didn't need to do anything, it only needed to land on a city, and that city would instantly turn into ashes. You group of lowly and despicable humans. The demon phoenix looked at Yang Dingtian and the others with scorching eyes, and said contemptuously, "You haven't had the protection of a saint-level powerhouse for hundreds of years, but you still dare to provoke my noble and powerful Phoenix clan. It seems that the treaty signed with the saint-level humans 1,000 years ago can be ignored. Our powerful monster clan can sweep the entire human world. Speaking of which, you humans are the most ridiculous and arrogant race. You think that just because you built a few houses and a few cities, you can think of yourself as the ruler of the primal chaos continent, huh? The demon phoenix's voice turned into a woman again, and sneered, Sue doesn't know, in the eyes of the powerful monster clan, you humans are as lowly as ants. Your so-called sects, how powerful do you think you are? Sue doesn't know, if I fly there, it will be enough to completely destroy your so-called sects and cities. Humph. Even if you want to brag, you have to come up with a draft. The ice spirit sneered, 200 years ago, who was the one who suffered in front of humans? That just proves how shameless humans are. The demon phoenix said coldly, Wan Wentian and Nihility Piao Ling fought against me, and they even used all kinds of tricks. Moreover, at that time, we were at our weakest. Don't tell me you are not too. The ice spirit said, you have a male and female body, 2 lives sharing the same body, you really think of yourself as one. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was shocked. He did not expect that the demon phoenix was not only a male and female body, but also had 2 lives and 2 souls in its body. And, that was 200 years ago. In these 200 years, I have become much stronger. Why don't you let those 2 humans try again? The demon phoenix said coldly. Alright, I am not here to chat with you, now I will give you a choice. You can leave immediately, after they pick the mystic fire, we will leave immediately, this is still your territory. Otherwise, I can only kill you and let them pick the mystic fire. The ice spirit said coldly. Dream on, wishful thinking. The demon phoenix was furious, you female creature, that's right, your background is better than ours, the energy you comprehend is much stronger than ours, and the territory you absorb energy from is dozens of times more than ours. But don't forget, there are 2 of us demon phoenixes, and we have been cultivating for many times more than you. If we really fight with our lives on the line, you might not be able to take advantage of us. And the most important thing is, you will become weaker and weaker. As long as we can survive these 3 days, you will not be our opponent. Then I will deal with you within these 3 days. The ice spirit said sternly. Whoosh! The ice spirit's delicate body suddenly flew up. With a flick of her finger, an icy sword materialized in the air. Swoosh! Like a meteor, it flew towards the demon phoenix. Compared to the demon phoenix, her body was extremely small. Don't go too far, I will let you have a taste of the power of my demon phoenix clan. The demon phoenix roared. Whoosh! The demon phoenix suddenly spewed out flames. That was really a flame that soared into the sky, tens of thousands of meters long and thousands of meters wide. Everywhere the naked eye could see, there were all soaring flames. In an instant, the flames completely engulfed the ice spirit's body. Then, the incomparably turbulent flames swept towards Yang Dingtian. The flames that soared into the sky were really like a nuclear explosion. Everywhere the flames passed, no matter what, everything was burning. Whether it was the rocks, the air, or the various demon beasts hiding in the rocks. In an instant, everything was burned and turned into magma. Even the devil prison cave behind Yang Dingtian had turned red abruptly even when the flames didn't touch it. The stone walls began to melt and turned into flowing magma. This was the power of the saint-level power. It didn't use any tricks at all, nor did it have any mysterious skills. It was just the most direct energy, the most direct flame. The flames that devoured everything. Seeing that they were completely surrounded by flames, Yang Dingtian and others felt incomparably small in their hearts. In the face of such soaring flames, let alone escaping, let alone resisting, they didn't even have the thought of resisting. Just like the athletes of the Earth era, when a nuclear bomb exploded a few hundred meters away from you, would you still have the courage to say that you must run faster than the flames of the nuclear bomb? No wonder the ice spirit said that the demon phoenix could kill them dozens of times from a few miles away. Previously, they thought that the ice spirit was exaggerating, but now it seemed that she was already very conservative. The fact was that they could easily be killed hundreds of times from dozens of miles away. Of course, in the face of such soaring flames, Yang Dingtian and others were fine. In fact, they still felt cold and couldn't feel the slightest bit of heat. Because they were staying within the energy shield set up by the ice spirit. Looking at the ice spirit again, she was actually not swallowed by the flames. On the contrary, the raging flames were suddenly torn open by her. She was still like a meteor, flying towards the huge demon phoenix. Her speed was extremely fast, like a missile. The distance of tens of thousands of meters was covered in an instant. Hiss! When she reached the demon phoenix's huge abdomen, the ice spirit suddenly stabbed her sword. Of course, Yang Dingtian couldn't see the ice spirit's sword stabbing in at all. In fact, in terms of volume, the ice spirit's sword was only equivalent to piercing an embroidery needle into the belly of a dinosaur. It was equivalent to an elephant being bitten by a mosquito. It wouldn't feel anything. But in fact, that wasn't the case. After the incomparably huge demon phoenix was pierced by the sword, it let out an earth-shattering roar. Then, its entire body trembled violently, and countless flames cracked from its body and fell. Suddenly, the sky was like a meteor shower, and countless flames fell to the ground. Then, an even more shocking scene happened. The part of the demon phoenix's abdomen that was stabbed began to freeze. That's right, the flames began to freeze. The raging flames that were burning quickly condensed into ice. It condensed into blue ice in the shape of surging flames. Yang Dingtian and the others who were watching the battle were completely stunned. In their knowledge, only liquid could condense into ice, but they didn't expect that flames could also condense into ice. Everyone looked at each other. Who was this ice spirit? Previously, Yang Dingtian and Qin Huayu had other thoughts. They felt that they had eliminated the demon spirit and defeated the Millennium Owl, so they were eager to find the demon phoenix's weakness and then destroy it. Now that he looked at it, how ridiculous and childish was that? The ice spirit didn't point it out at all. From her, Yang Dingtian learned that this demon phoenix was very, very powerful, and even the ice spirit couldn't defeat it. So, Yang Dingtian thought that in the battle against the demon phoenix, they would have to help the ice spirit and even play a key role. Now, it seemed ridiculous and childish. It was like an ant fantasizing about interfering in a battle between two humans. Yang Dingtian and the others could only play the role of a burden. City Lord Yang, I believe that one day, you will be so powerful, and you will also have the ability to destroy the world. I believe that one day, you will also become a saint-level powerhouse, and can completely step on the heads of these saint-level demons. I believe that not only can you defeat the evil ways, but you can also protect the entire human race. Song Chunhua felt that Yang Dingtian was a little depressed, so she encouraged him loudly. Yang Dingtian smiled at Song Chunhua, and said, I'm just overturning my previous worldview. Before, I always thought that the so-called saint level was only one step away from the 9-star Great Grandmaster, and there wasn't much difference. Now, I know that the difference is like heaven and earth. I used to think that people like Wu Yu from the Netherworld Sea should have already broken through to the saint level, because he already had the power of heaven and earth. Now, I understand that he is still a great grandmaster, but a very, very high one. Look, the demon phoenix is going to escape. The little Princess Vulture said. She was a little girl, and didn't have the mood to discuss such a serious topic with Yang Dingtian. She was fully focused on watching the battle. Sure enough, the demon phoenix was going to escape. In just one move, the demon phoenix had already been defeated and was going to escape. Of course, the demon phoenix wasn't going to escape, but was going to escape. For some reason, the ice spirit was getting weaker and weaker. Perhaps after 3 to 5 days, the ice spirit wouldn't be a match for the demon phoenix. At that time, the demon phoenix would turn around and kill the ice spirit, and then easily crush Yang Dingtian and the others. This way, no one would snatch the mystic flame that it regarded as its exclusive property. Whoosh! Sure enough, the demon phoenix's body quickly shrank, and then suddenly turned into a stream of light, and disappeared without a trace. Suddenly, the entire abyss darkened, and the incomparably huge demon phoenix disappeared into the huge abyss. It really ran away. The ice spirit looked at everyone in the air, and said, "Don't leave the protective shield, wait for me to return." After saying that, the ice spirit also suddenly turned into a stream of light, and disappeared without a trace, chasing after the demon phoenix. She had to chase, otherwise, she wouldn't be a match for the demon phoenix in 3 days. Suddenly, in the entire abyss, the entire devil prison cave, only Yang Dingtian and a few others were left, staying within the blue ice shield. "Who do you think this ice spirit is?" Qin Huayu asked. Everyone shook their heads, everyone wanted to know the answer. Yang Dingtian wanted to know even more, who was this ice spirit? She kept saying, "You humans, you humans." Without a doubt, she was definitely not a human. The demon fire demon phoenix had been famous for thousands of years, and it's said that the time it cultivated was many times longer than the ice spirit, which meant that the ice spirit had lived for at least thousands of years. Humans couldn't live for that long. Could it be that the ice spirit was a demon beast? Of course, there were demon beasts that could transform into human form, such as Yao Rao, but could demon beasts transform into such a fairy-like appearance? Everyone couldn't figure out who this ice spirit was. "Not good, look," Zhao Mu suddenly said, and then pointed to the surroundings. Yang Dingtian looked, and suddenly his hair stood on end. Because, many flaming monsters flew in the air, and suddenly flew towards the ice energy shield. This was definitely an ambush left behind by the demon phoenix. They shouldn't be able to pass through this shield. The little princess vulture said worriedly. Bang! As they spoke, 3 flaming monsters slammed into the energy shield. Boom! In an instant, the 3 huge flaming monsters directly turned into ashes and suddenly exploded. The people inside the ice shield were safe and sound. However, Yang Dingtian clearly saw that after the energy shield trembled violently, the blue color became thinner. Then, more and more flaming monsters rushed over. Bang, 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 bang. They madly launched suicidal attacks towards the energy shield. Of course, they themselves turned into ashes, but under the intense tremor, the ice shield became thinner and thinner. Vulture, these flaming monsters are all energy creatures, try to control them. Yang Dingtian said. Okay. Vulture said. Then, she closed her eyes and put her palms together, and suddenly a green light enveloped her body. Go, Vulture pointed her finger, and suddenly countless green lights suddenly scattered out, quickly drilling into the flaming monsters. Ah, it didn't have any effect. Instead, Vulture screamed, spat out a mouthful of blood, and her delicate body flew out. At the same time, dozens of flaming monsters pounced towards the little princess. Whoosh! Yang Dingtian suddenly opened the mystic flame shield and rushed out quickly. Yang Dingtian rampaged all the way, squeezing through countless flaming monsters, and hugged the little princess Vulture who was on the verge of death in the air. At this moment, her delicate body was completely red. She, who was surrounded by the flaming monsters, felt like her blood was boiling. I can't control them, these flaming monsters don't have souls. Moreover, they all have an incomparably strong will in their bodies, probably from the demon phoenix. Just as my thoughts entered, it was like a galloping horse hitting a stone wall, the little princess Vulture said weakly, then spat out a mouthful of blood and was about to faint. Yang Dingtian quickly took out the holy water pill, stuffed it into her mouth, and said, "Close your eyes and dissolve the pill, don't think about anything." At this moment, Qin Huayu, Song Chunhua, and the others also came out of the energy shield and were attacking these flaming monsters. However, to their horror, these attacks were completely useless. Not only were they useless, but they also made these flaming monsters stronger. Why did you come out? These are Martian energy creatures, you are all fire element warriors, you can't hurt them at all, you can only make them stronger. Only ice element experts can deal with these flaming energy beasts, Yang Dingtian said loudly. What about the lightning element? Song Chunhua asked. It's also useless. These flaming monsters are energy bodies, they are not afraid of lightning at all. Instead, they are adding fuel to the fire, making them stronger. Yang Dingtian said, quickly enter the shield. Yang Dingtian carried the little princess vulture and rushed into the shield. Song Chunhua, Qin Huayu, and the others also quickly entered the shield. Then, countless flaming monsters continued to launch suicidal attacks at the shield. It was really endless, there were hundreds and thousands of flaming monsters. According to your estimates, what are the energy levels of these flaming monsters? Yang Dingtian asked. Most of them are only martial ancestor realm, there are also martial honorable realm, but very few. Song Chunhua said, however, they are completely immune to our attacks, and they are also making them stronger. Therefore, these thousands of martial honorable realm flaming monsters will burn us alive. Brother, the ice shield is about to break. Zhao Mu said in a frightened voice. That's right, the ice shield was about to break. Once it broke, they would be surrounded by endless flaming monsters, and only death would await them. Yang Dingtian said to the little princess vulture, Girl, take off your demon spirit mist cloak and give it to me, I will go outside to lure the flaming monsters away. The little princess vulture blushed slightly and said, But, this demon spirit mist cloak is the one I wear the most. Take it off. Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian turned around, and everyone else also turned around, their backs facing the little princess vulture. The little girl gritted her teeth and began to take off her clothes. Chapter 420. Everyone stared at the oval-shaped ball in Yang Dingtian's hand, which was slightly bigger than a basketball. They didn't expect it to be the egg of the demon fire demon phoenix. Do you think it's inhumane for us to let Ice Spirit kill this demon phoenix for this mysterious fire? Little Princess Vulture suddenly asked. Everyone was avoiding this question before, but now that the little girl mentioned it, they couldn't help but feel complicated. It's inhumane. Yang Dingtian said, but if we don't do this, it's even more inhumane to our family. So if we must be inhumane, I'd rather be inhumane to other species. Then, Yang Dingtian said, now Ice Spirit has cleared the way back, and the magma flames in the entire Devil Prison Cave have been extinguished and solidified. You can go back to the secret realm to recover your mysterious chi. What about you? Qin Huayu asked. I can recover my mysterious chi here. Yang Dingtian said. But the mysterious chi here is poisonous. Song Chunhua said. I have the yin-yang chi transformation technique, which can turn any mysterious chi into absolutely pure mysterious chi. Yang Dingtian said. Suddenly, everyone was stunned. This was undoubtedly an almost heaven-defying skill. Then you go and recover your mysterious chi first. City Lord Yang and I will stay here. Song Chunhua said. Okay. Qin Huayu said. The little princess's smile was strange and ambiguous. She wanted to tease Song Chunhua again, but Song Chunhua glared at her. Qin Huayu, Vulture, and Zhao Mu returned to the secret realm first. Song Chunhua said to Yang Dingtian, did I waste your Naga mysterious veins? This thing is extremely precious and can't even be bought in the merchant hall of the demon city. This Naga mysterious veins was meant to be given to you. Yang Dingtian said, but I don't have much left. I really don't know who to give it to next. Song Chunhua was silent for a moment and asked, your cultivation, how much has it regressed? Not necessarily. I need to cultivate under the holy light pillar for a period of time before I can be sure, Yang Dingtian said. Tell me. Song Chunhua said, please don't hide anything from me, because I'm using my life to pledge loyalty to you. 1-star revered martial artist. Yang Dingtian said. What? Song Chunhua suddenly exclaimed, how can it degenerate so much? 1-star revered martial artist, Yang Dingtian's cultivation had almost returned to half a year ago. It's not just because I used the heart flame to burn my chi si. Later on, the damage to my chi si was so severe that I couldn't use external force to make up for it. Therefore, the inner wall of the energy reserve automatically decomposes the energy to make up for it, Yang Dingtian explained. Then what should we do? Song Chunhua said anxiously, it can be said that the secret realm trial is over. There is no room for further breakthroughs. Don't worry. Every time I fight to the limit, I will expand a huge space for my energy reserve. This time, I have completely reached the limit of the limit. It can be said that I have almost lost my life. Therefore, the expansion of the space should be unprecedented. Therefore, everything will have to wait until I reach the holy light pillar and absorb the mystic qi before I can be sure. Yang Dingtian said, perhaps, I might be able to recover completely. Then you go now, Song Chunhua said. No hurry. After the mystic flame completely blooms and Qin Huayu completely collects the mystic flame, I will go to the holy light pillar, Yang Dingtian said. No. Song Chunhua said firmly, after Qin Huayu comes back, you and I will go to the secret realm together. This is not negotiable. After saying that, Song Chunhua stared at Yang Dingtian, full of determination. Yang Dingtian could only nod. 10 hours later, Qin Huayu and the others came back. Yang Dingtian asked, did you have any breakthroughs in your cultivation? The three of them shook their heads, indicating that they didn't have any breakthroughs. Yang Dingtian said with a smile, don't worry, the breakthrough after swallowing the mystic flame will be unimaginable. Song Chunhua said, City Lord Yang, it's time for us to recover our mystic qi. After saying that, she grabbed Yang Dingtian's arm without any room for discussion and directly walked forward. Suddenly, the little Princess Vulture's gaze became even more ambiguous. Yang Dingtian and Song Chunhua walked back along the maze of Devil Prison Cave. Just now, the demonic fire phoenix turned the entire Devil Prison Cave into magma, and all the monsters inside were in chaos. When Yang Dingtian returned, he found that the layout of the maze of Devil Prison Cave had not changed, but the outer layer had completely changed. After the magma solidified, it became a kind of porcelain surface, and it was suffused with a strange luster, making the entire Devil Prison Cave harder and smoother, somewhat like a crystal palace. On the way back, there were at least dozens of monsters lying on the ground. Even if this ice spirit's cultivation has regressed, it can still kill all these monsters. It's so powerful that it's beyond our imagination, Song Chunhua said. Yang Dingtian nodded. Soon, the two of them walked to the starting point of Devil Prison Cave. In front of them was a slightly distorted light screen. This was the space-time crack that led to the secret realm of Despair City. Yang Dingtian and Song Chunhua walked forward into the light screen. Suddenly, their minds lost all consciousness for a short time. When they regained consciousness, they were already in the passage to the secret realm. After walking through the passage, they had already arrived at the stone cave. The stone table was still there, and on it was still the chess game that Yang Dingtian and the ice spirit had finished playing. But the ice spirit was not here. The door to her room was closed at this time. She was probably in her room at this time, and had no intention of coming out. Let's go, Yang Dingtian said. Then, they walked to the main hall on the first floor. Coming to the holy light pillar, Yang Dingtian found that Qin Ji was no longer here. Most of the time, she would be lazily sitting under the pillar, dressing up and looking at the mirror. But soon, Yang Dingtian heard the sound of water flowing. Then, in the shadows far away from the main hall, he could vaguely see a graceful naked body. At this time, Qin Ji was taking a bath. Yang Dingtian immediately looked away and sat under the holy light pillar with Song Chunhua to absorb profound energy. The profound energy under the holy light pillar was indeed unimaginably dense. Compared to Devil Prison Cave, it was almost 100 times denser. Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and immediately felt the entrance of all the profound veins in his body completely open. Then, an incomparably pure profound energy surged out. It was so comfortable. It was really like rain after a long drought. Yang Dingtian's qi vessel and mystic meridians were extremely hungry as they greedily devoured this purest mystic qi. Bang! 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 In almost a short period of time, Yang Dingtian's energy sea trembled slightly. These were all small breakthroughs. Then, Yang Dingtian's energy sea began to completely expand. Boom! Without any obstruction, Yang Dingtian's mind and body completely entered into nothingness. Yang Dingtian broke through again. The terrifying experience in Devil Prison Cave had caused him to regress from a 6-star Martial Venerable to a 1-star Martial Venerable, causing him to suffer the greatest injury in history. Now, in a short period of time, he had once again broken through from a 1-star Martial Venerable to a 2-star Martial Venerable. Just as Yang Dingtian was enjoying the aftertaste of his breakthrough, someone suddenly patted him on the shoulder. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes. Suddenly, his eyes were almost dazzled. It was Qin Ji. Moreover, she had just come out of the bath. Her fragrance was overflowing and her beauty radiated in all directions. Yang Dingtian looked away and said, "What's wrong? I've used up my condensation pills. There's not enough for me to wash my clothes. Give me a few." Qin Ji said. Yang Dingtian was helpless and pretended to grab a handful from his arms and give it to her. "Also, be careful when you come back. I only took a bath when I saw Qin Huayu and the others leave. I also asked if anyone would come next. The little girl from Vulture said that no one would come, so I went to take a bath. In the end, you came." Qin Ji said, "I'm as pure as snow. If you saw me bathing, who would it belong to?" Yang Dingtian could only nod. He would never quarrel with her. This woman was abnormal and had no bottom line. No matter what he fought with her, he would not win. After taking away the condensation pills, Qin Ji left gracefully and returned to the dark corner to wash her clothes. Yang Dingtian closed his eyes again and breathed in and out. Soon, the profound qi surged out again and entered his qi sea. Bang, 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 the qi sea soon trembled again. After trembling 9 times, Yang Dingtian's qi sea began to expand, expand, and expand. Boom, his entire body entered nothingness and emptiness. Yang Dingtian broke through again. From a 2-star Martial Venerable, he recovered to a 3-star Martial Venerable. Just like that, time passed by minute. Qin Ji had finished washing her clothes and continued to sit under a pillar not far from Yang Dingtian. She held a mirror and carefully put on her makeup. That's right, she spent the past dozens of days in the secret realm like this. She was always looking in the mirror and putting on makeup. It took her 4 to 5 hours to put on makeup. After putting on makeup, she used the mirror to admire herself for 3 to 4 hours. Then she washed off her makeup and put on new makeup. As a result, Yang Dingtian saw a shape-shifting demoness. This woman was already extremely beautiful. Coupled with the various styles of makeup that were all at the peak of perfection, Qin Ji could amaze everyone every time. Her beauty stunned everyone for a few seconds. Every time this happened, Qin Ji was the happiest. Therefore, in the end, the little princess had no bottom line to ask Qin Ji for her makeup skills. Later, when Yang Dingtian and the others were cultivating under the holy light pillar, the little princess Vulture was almost always with Qin Ji. Then, Vulture also enjoyed Qin Ji's makeup skills, which made her delicate face even more soul-stirring. However, Qin Ji had a very accurate grasp of one thing. No matter how beautiful Vulture was with makeup, she would never surpass herself. She would always be beautiful. At most, she would not completely suppress the little girl. The little girl did not know that she had become a green leaf. She was still happily raising her little face for others to see. Therefore, in the end, Yang Dingtian often inadvertently saw the two women being unusually close. Regarding this, Qin Huayu had secretly warned the little princess Vulture that Qin Ji was once a man. In the end, the little princess Vulture's reply made everyone burst out laughing. They did not try to persuade her anymore. Her reply was, "I know. It's more fun this way. 2 hours. 4 hours. 6 hours. 8 hours. 10 hours. 24 hours passed. At this time, there were only about 20 hours left before the demon spirit demon fire bloomed. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes. His entire body was surging with incomparably vigorous and huge energy. He looked at Song Chunhua and was about to apologize for making her wait. However, he did not expect that Song Chunhua still had her eyes closed and was in the middle of breathing. Ah! Why is it like this? Yang Dingtian was extremely surprised. He could not help but look at Qin Ji. Do I look good? Qin Ji moved the mirror away and looked at Yang Dingtian. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's gaze was slightly dazed. She was more than just good-looking. She was simply gorgeous and breathtaking. At this moment, Qin Ji had put on an extremely gorgeous makeup. Furthermore, it was slightly thick. Especially her lips, which were really like raging flames. Also, her eyes. It was unknown what method she used, but her pupils actually turned blue. This kind of oppressive glamour directly pierced Yang Dingtian's eyes. Then I am at ease. Qin Ji let out a breath of relief and said, "My face is too small and inclined towards seductiveness. It's not magnanimous enough. I thought that I would not be able to pull off this kind of makeup. Therefore, I did it for a very long time and did not dare to do it. Today, I finally made up my mind. After painting for 20 hours, I was still worried that it would not look good. Seeing your reaction, I am finally at ease." After that, Qin Ji admired herself in the mirror and said proudly, "Yang Dingtian, my appearance is more suitable to be the empress of a city than Shimin Yanyan. It's gorgeous and magnanimous. I originally thought that only Mu Dan and Dugu Fengwu would be able to pull off this kind of makeup." Speaking of Mu Dan and Dugu Fengwu, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but feel gloomy. He then changed the topic and said, "Song Chunhua, has she not woken up yet?" "No." Qin Ji said indifferently, "She has not woken up at all." After that, she continued to be intoxicated by her own beauty. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be possible. Because her cultivation had regressed a lot, it caused a huge amount of space in her qi vessel. Therefore, this was a revenge increase in cultivation, which was why she needed 20 hours. Song Chunhua shouldn't need such a long time to absorb the mystic qi. Yang Dingtian, I have decided. After I go out, I want to be a prostitute. I want to turn everyone upside down. I want to charm all the men in the world." Qin Ji suddenly said. Yang Dingtian was originally concerned about Song Chunhua, but after hearing Qin Ji's words, he couldn't help but get a shock. Qin Ji's ambition was to be a prostitute. This was really out of the ordinary. Of course, I am selling my skills, not my body. I want my fame to surpass Third Lady Gongsun. I want to become the dream lover of all the men in the world. No matter where I go, countless men will go crazy for me. Qin Ji said passionately, "Of course, if I meet someone I like, I don't mind having a good time with him." Yang Dingtian said, "You should remember that we might not let you go out alive because you killed many innocent people." "Oh, that's right." Qin Ji said, "That's really a pity. It wasn't easy for me to find my dream." However, if I can break through to the master level within a year, it will be a great surprise. Song Chunhua said. "Alright, it's not long before the Xian flame blooms. We should go to Devil Prison Cave." Yang Dingtian said. Then, the two of them left the main hall and headed to Devil Prison Cave. On the way, Song Chunhua asked, "How much of your Xian Qi have you recovered?" 5-star revered martial artist. Yang Dingtian said. It turned out that Yang Dingtian's cultivation was a 6-star third-class revered martial artist. In the near-death battle in Devil Prison Cave, his Sea of Qi was injured and his cultivation regressed to a 1-star revered martial artist. This time, he recovered to a 5-star revered martial artist under the Holy Light Pillar. Sigh. Song Chunhua sighed. "I'm already very satisfied." Yang Dingtian said with a smile. Actually, you also really need this demon spirit demon fire. Song Chunhua said, are you sure you want to give it to Qin Huayu? Of course, there's no room for discussion. Yang Dingtian said, I can't win against the evil ways by myself. We need more and more allies, and we need powerful allies. I will follow you forever. Song Chunhua said solemnly, even though she didn't know how many times she had said this. Yang Dingtian returned to the end of Devil Prison Cave and came to the place where the Xian flame was about to bloom. There was a floating circular platform here. At this moment, Qin Huayu and the others were sitting cross-legged on it. The little Princess Vulture's gaze kept wandering between Yang Dingtian and Song Chunhua, and her expression became even more strange. Song Chunhua stepped forward and twisted her ear, saying, Girl, if you look at me like that again, I promise I'll beat you until you cry. Sister Chunhua, don't be guilty. I didn't say anything. The little girl screamed and begged for mercy. Girl, please don't joke with me like this in the future. Song Chunhua said seriously, Song Chunhua, will never marry. I'm a warrior, not a woman. I see City Lord Yang as my lifelong leader. I hope you won't blaspheme our relationship. Seeing her incomparably serious appearance, the little Princess Vulture said embarrassedly, Okay, I understand. Yang Dingtian said with a smile, Chunhua's cultivation has broken through to the 9th rank martial venerable because of the cleansing of her marrow and meridians. She's only one step away from becoming a grandmaster. When these words came out, everyone immediately exclaimed and looked at Song Chunhua with envy and joy. Yang Dingtian stepped forward and patted Qin Huayu's shoulder, saying, Senior brother Qin, it's your turn next. The breakthrough brought about by swallowing the Xian flame is something you don't dare to imagine. So, perhaps you're the fastest among us to break through to the Grandmaster realm. Qin Huayu originally wanted to give up the Xian flame, but he knew that it would be useless. He immediately bowed deeply to Yang Dingtian. Okay, there should only be one day before the Xian flame blooms. Everyone, sit in a circle and quietly wait for the Xian flame to bloom. Yang Dingtian said. Yes. Everyone said. Then, the 5 of them sat side by side and closed their eyes, waiting quietly. Time passed by minute by minute. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. 10 hours. 16 hours. 20 hours. 20 hours. 24 hours. Everyone opened their eyes. Their eyes were filled with anticipation and some uneasiness. Because the demon spirit demon fire would bloom at this time only because the ice spirit said so. The demon fire demon phoenix guarded and occupied this Xian flame, but it didn't say when it would bloom. Although everyone knew that the ice spirit wouldn't lie, they still couldn't help but wonder. At this moment, an incomparably beautiful and enchanting flame gently jumped and appeared out of thin air. It floated on the platform and floated in front of everyone. The Xian flame bloomed. The demon spirit demon fire bloomed. That's right, this was the Xian flame. Everyone could clearly feel it at the first moment, because that clear spirit, that clear energy, and that clear life force was something that no other flame possessed. Yang Dingtian also felt it at the first moment. This was the Xian flame. It wasn't a mixed flame or an illusory void flame. The million spirit demon fire had the illusory void flame, but it didn't mean that the demon spirit demon fire also had the illusory void flame. The million spirit demon fire was divided into yin and yang, but there was only one demon spirit demon fire. This was the true mystic flame that everyone yearned for even in their dreams. The Xian flame that could allow a martial artist to be reborn and advance by leaps and bounds. In about 7 minutes, the Xian flame would bloom and mature. When it matured, as long as a martial artist summoned it and gently devoured it, it would enter the martial artist's sea of qi and become the martial artist's lifelong comrade or even a part of him. 7 minutes. Time passed by minute by minute. This Xian flame became more and more beautiful, brighter and more breathtaking. Everyone held their breaths, waiting for it to bloom and mature completely. Chapter 421. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. Yang Dingtian almost held his breath as he looked at the blooming mystic flame. He watched as the flame became bigger and bigger, more and more beautiful and enchanting. That's right, enchanting. It really did not look like a flame, but more like a flower. In fact, after a while, its color had stopped changing too much. It was still a red flame, just like the Mudan. It was not as glaring as fresh blood, but it was very brilliant. What matured next was a certain temperament of the mystic flame. That's right, temperament. Every mystic flame had its own temperament. Yang Dingtian's million-spirit demon flame had a mysterious temperament. The mystic flame in front of them had a luxurious and passionate temperament. The more it bloomed, the clearer everyone could feel its temperament. It was really like a peony, blooming passionately and gorgeously. In fact, it wasn't even burning quietly. Instead, it would jump up and down from time to time. Sometimes, it even leaned over to feel the energy aura around it. Yang Dingtian realized that the flame of this mystic flame was bigger and thicker than Yang Dingtian's million-spirit demon flame. Finally, this mystic flame bloomed to the extreme and matured to the extreme. At this moment, it had already started to sway and change into all kinds of beautiful shapes. It was different from other mystic flames. When other mystic flames matured, they were filled with uneasiness, anticipation, and fear. The mystic flame was a flame with life. Therefore, it also had its own emotions. The mystic flame in front of them was like a peacock, but also like a passionate and bold girl, desperately showing off her beauty, hoping that someone would take it away. Of course, this analogy might not be accurate. It made people feel that the mystic flame was like a beautiful and mature girl, longing for a lover. In fact, the relationship between a mystic flame and a martial artist was more like a baby and its parents. However, this mystic flame in front of them was too generous and passionate. It kept showing off its beauty, without the slightest bit of fear like other mystic flames. At this moment, even though everyone knew that this mystic flame was going to be given to Qin Huayu, they could not help but be filled with love for this mystic flame. It was indeed very lovable. It could already be picked. Otherwise, it would quickly disappear and wilt. The next time it bloomed would be many, many years later. At this moment, everyone was looking at Qin Huayu because Yang Dingtian had said that this profound flame belonged to Qin Huayu. However, Qin Huayu didn't step forward. He just stared at Yang Dingtian, waiting for Yang Dingtian's final decision. Yang Dingtian glared at him, indicating for him to go immediately. Qin Huayu stood up and once again bowed deeply towards Yang Dingtian and everyone else before walking towards the obsidian flame. Immediately, the gorgeous and breathtaking profound flame suddenly scuttled, as if it was filled with curiosity as it looked at the newcomer. Qin Huayu came to the side of the mystic flame and sat down cross-legged. His hands lightly grasped the sides of the flame as if he was holding a precious treasure. Of course, it was a supreme treasure. In other words, it surpassed any treasure in the world. Because of the periodic problem of the heaven and earth mystic flame, most of the experts in the world didn't have the fortune to own it. Even the extremely powerful figures like Dongfang Minmi and Zhu Qingzhu didn't have it. Now that Qin Huayu had this profound flame, it meant that his cultivation would very likely surpass his formidable father, Qin Wanchou. He took a deep breath. Qin Huayu looked at this beautiful profound flame and injected a stream of profound qi, gradually approaching it. This process had to be very, very careful. There couldn't be any interruptions. Otherwise, the profound flame might go berserk after being startled. Once the profound flame went berserk, the outcome would be similar to a nuclear bomb explosion. Everyone held their breaths as they watched this scene. Usually, this was the time when patience was at its finest. One couldn't be a little impatient and definitely couldn't scare the profound flame away. Therefore, the profound flame's speed of approaching had to be very, very slow. One had to let the profound flame fully familiarize itself with the smell of one's energy and then let it approach gently. Because the blooming profound flame was really like a baby, full of anticipation and also full of fear. because it was about to go to a new home. Of course, this was an ordinary profound flame. The profound flame in front of them was completely different. Sensing the approach of profound chi, this beautiful profound flame suddenly jumped. Instantly, everyone was shocked. Could it be that it was going berserk? But who knew that this red flame would directly spin a circle in the air to express its joy? Then, this flame suddenly pounced and directly charged into Qin Huaiyu's profound chi. Yang Dingtian was instantly stunned. It was really his first time seeing such a passionate profound flame. Other profound flames were all very, very careful. Yet, this one directly pounced over and wasn't afraid of entering a very lousy chi si. Boom! The moment Qin Huaiyu's profound chi and this profound flame merged, this flame suddenly shot up more than a meter high. The outcome was already decided. At this moment, no matter who it was, no one could change the outcome. No one could snatch the profound flame from Qin Huaiyu. If Qin Huaiyu was killed now, then the profound flame, which had already regarded Qin Huaiyu as its master but had yet to enter the Qi Si, would use its greatest fury and madness to avenge Qin Huaiyu. That would be the profound flame going berserk, equivalent to the explosion of a nuclear bomb. Phew! Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh of relief. Even though he knew that there wouldn't be any unforeseen events during the process of swallowing the profound flame, Yang Dingtian was still very nervous just now. Now that everything was settled, he couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Boom! This beautiful profound flame suddenly dispersed and turned into thousands of strands of beautiful energy, instantly filling the entire space. This was the profound flame preparing to enter the Qi Si. Because its energy was too strong, it couldn't enter the master's Qi Si at all. So it would turn into thousands of strands of energy and enter the master's Qi Si from every profound vein entrance. Everyone looked at the red strands that filled the sky with amazement. Countless red threads danced and danced around Qin Huaiyu. Whoosh! Then, they quickly drilled into all the profound veins in Qin Huaiyu's body. Suddenly, Qin Huaiyu's body emitted a dazzling light. At this time, what Qin Huaiyu had to do was to refine the profound flame's energy and guide it into his Qi Si, turning it into his own heart flame. The profound flame turned into thousands of strands and existed for a limited time in this space. The master could only swallow as much as he could. Therefore, this was the time to test the master's profound veins and Qi Si's talent. Qin Huaiyu closed his eyes and quietly accepted and refined the countless strands of profound flame's energy. This process would probably last for several hours. Of course, the most important thing was that the profound flame's energy that was swallowed in the first 15 minutes was more than 80% of the final energy that was swallowed. Looking at Qin Huaiyu, who was quietly swallowing the profound flame's energy, Yang Dingtian sighed and said, "I really hope that Qin Huaiyu can break through to the master level this time. That would have an extraordinary meaning to us. At least, it would be a strong shock to his father." "I hope that you'll break through to the master level first," Song Chunhua said. "Whether I break through to the master level first or not, it won't affect anything." Yang Dingtian smiled and said, "Previously, among the three of us, my cultivation was the lowest. Speaking of which, it's really funny. At that time, Qin Huaiyu and I were enemies. For the peace of Cloud Sky City, I had no choice but to make a deal with him. Therefore, the so-called finding a profound flame for him was completely a scam. At that time, I didn't even think of realizing it. I didn't expect that we would actually become comrades in the end. I also really found a profound flame for him." "Yes, you're so generous. Why didn't you find one for me?" Little Princess Vulture pouted and said. "You already have the third profound flame in the world. Why are you still fighting for it?" Yang Dingtian smiled and said. "Who would complain about having more profound flames?"
The little girl said, "To tell you the truth, I almost fought with Qin Huaiyu for this profound flame just now. I almost wanted to inject my profound qi into it. However, I thought that if I did that, you guys would look down on me. Therefore, I thought about it and decided not to. Yang Dingtian, don't you think my character is very bad? Am I very greedy? Yang Dingtian smiled and said, you're just a child. Everyone wants something good when they see it. This profound flame, not only me, but also Chunhua and Zhao also want it. However, we're adults. We'll restrain our desires. Little Princess Vulture said, then I'd better not grow up. I'll be at a disadvantage if I grow up. Then, Little Princess Vulture's eyes suddenly lit up. She pointed outside and said, Yang Dingtian, look. What's that? Yang Dingtian couldn't help but turn his head to look. He saw that the entire abyss was now filled with countless red light particles. They were endless and covered hundreds of miles of the abyss. Suddenly, the entire dark abyss seemed especially beautiful and dreamy. Yang Dingtian, what kind of light is this? Little Princess Vulture asked. I don't know either, Yang Dingtian said. Then, these light particles gradually condensed and condensed towards the center. Suddenly, it became brighter and brighter. When it condensed to a size of hundreds of meters, everyone saw its shape clearly. It was the shape of a phoenix. Yes, it was the shape of a magical fire demonic phoenix. Little Princess Vulture was shocked and said, is the magical fire demonic phoenix resurrected? Then we have to call Bing Ling. We're no match for her at all. Yang Dingtian also suddenly felt as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Because this was indeed the shape of a magical fire demonic phoenix. If the magical fire demonic phoenix really resurrected, then no matter how weak it was, everyone present would be no match for it. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian held the egg of the magical fire demonic phoenix in his arms. If it really did murder, then he had no choice but to use its child as a hostage. However, the condensed fire phoenix didn't show any fierceness. It was still condensing, condensing, and condensing. From hundreds of meters, it condensed to only dozens of meters. Dozens of meters. At this time, this fire phoenix was so gorgeous and bright that people couldn't look at it directly. Its light even surpassed the sunlight in the sky. However, the fire phoenix was still condensing. 8 meters. 5 meters. 3 meters. 1 meter. 1 foot. 5 inches. 3 inches. 1 inch. In the end, it condensed to only about 1 inch. It was still in the shape of a flying phoenix. But because it was too small, the phoenix's appearance couldn't be seen clearly. It was more like a ball of flame. Yes, it was like a ball of flame. It was fiery red and incomparably gorgeous. It floated in the air, burning passionately and beautifully.
The entire abyss was filled with its powerful and fiery energy. What is this? Why do I feel that it's similar to the mystic fire just now? Little Princess Vulture couldn't help but ask. Yang Dingtian suddenly couldn't help but be shocked. Yes, it was very similar to the magical fire just now. Then, Yang Dingtian was ecstatic and thought of a possibility. This magical fire demonic phoenix had swallowed many mystic fires in the past thousands of years. And it was a fire energy creature. Could it be that although Bing Ling smashed it into pieces, the mystic fire energy it swallowed was not completely destroyed? At this time, it was attracted by the magical fire again and began to condense again. If that was the case, then although the flame in front of them was extremely fragile and had been severely injured by Bing Ling, it was still a brand new flame condensed by more than a dozen mystic fires inside the magical fire demonic phoenix. Follow me. Yang Dingtian. Then, they couldn't help but fly to the side of the phoenix flame. Yes, it was really a mystic fire. Because everyone felt the unique spiritual energy, life and soul of the mystic fire. However, it was also a special mystic fire. Not only was it as passionate and generous as the magical fire just now, but it also had the arrogance of the magical fire phoenix. Not only did it desperately release its power and beauty in the air, but it also desperately looked forward to being devoured by others. However, it was also very reserved and arrogant, as if it was looking down on others. This kind of passionate and unrestrained temperament, as well as arrogant and reserved, caused the hearts of everyone to sway. Yes, it was related to the magical fire demonic phoenix, but it was definitely not the soul of the magical fire demonic phoenix. Because its childishness and naivety matched the characteristics of every mystic fire. This should be a specially modified mystic fire. If they had to give it a name, then they would call it the Heavenly Phoenix Fire. The Heavenly Phoenix Fire gently flapped its wings and flew in front of everyone. It desperately displayed its beauty and desperately wanted others to collect it. However, at the same time, she would always raise her little head and show her incomparably proud appearance. Yang Dingtian and the others were completely stunned. They didn't expect that not only did they find a mystic fire for Qin Huayu, but they also found a brand new mystic fire. An incomparably beautiful and complicated heavenly phoenix fire. Instantly, everyone looked at Yang Dingtian. At this time, there was only one thought in everyone's mind. This mystic fire should belong to Yang Dingtian. Especially Song Chunhua, she clearly knew that Yang Dingtian's darkness mystic fire needed energy. If it devoured this heavenly phoenix fire, the darkness mystic fire might mature directly. Although Yang Dingtian had the million spirit demonic fire, he was indeed the one who needed the mystic fire the most. City Lord Yang, quickly devour this flame. This is destined to be your compensation. Song Chunhua said. Chapter 422. Yang Dingtian looked at the beautiful and fervent heavenly phoenix flame that was spreading its wings and flying. This was another mystic flame that grew under special circumstances. He didn't know what kind of energy it had, but it shouldn't be any worse than Qin Huayu's. The demonic fire demonic phoenix had devoured more than a dozen mystic flames. Although it was killed by the ice spirit, the remaining mystic flame energy in its body and the demonic fire demonic phoenix's aura formed a brand new mystic flame. Even though most of the energy was destroyed by the ice spirit, the remaining heavenly phoenix flame should still be very powerful. At this moment, the heavenly phoenix flame couldn't care less about being reserved. It could clearly feel the existence of living beings around it. It couldn't wait to look around. It was different from ordinary mystic flames. If ordinary mystic flames weren't collected, they would bloom again in a few decades or centuries. If no one collected this heavenly phoenix fire, it would completely dissipate. Therefore, it had already started to spread its wings in front of people, hovering and swaying. City Lord Yang, what are you waiting for? Song Chunhua asked. Chunhua, you do it. Yang Dingtian said. You're crazy. Song Chunhua shouted, you're crazy. A leader shouldn't be like you. It's not giving all the good things to your subordinates. It's not enough to be a good leader just because you're noble and modest. If you do this, you'll disappoint me. Look for yourself. This heavenly phoenix flame has already chosen its master. Yang Dingtian said. Everyone looked over. Indeed. This heavenly phoenix flame first flew to Yang Dingtian and hovered in front of him. It was a little restless and very tempted. However, it was also a little resistant. It was very tempted because of Yang Dingtian's 9 Yang mystic veins. But as for why it resisted Yang Dingtian, he didn't know. Maybe it was because Yang Dingtian already had the million spirit demonic fire in his body. Or maybe it was because Yang Dingtian had the darkness mystic flame, which made other flames fear. This heavenly phoenix flame was very proud. It wanted to be the boss after entering the Sea of Qi, so it didn't want to share the favor with others. Finally, it reluctantly but resolutely flew away from Yang Dingtian. Then, it flew in front of the little princess. Immediately, the little princess became excited and said fervently, choose me, I will treat you very, very well. However, it was clear that the little girl was going to be disappointed, because the heavenly phoenix flame only stayed in front of her for a moment before leaving. He walked up to Zhao Mu. Zhao Mu immediately held his breath, not daring to move an inch. Who would have thought that the heavenly phoenix fire would actually use its wing tip to prod Xiaomu? Finally, it flew to Song Chunhua. It gently approached the tip of Song Chunhua's nose. Song Chunhua immediately turned her body away, indicating that she absolutely did not want it. Who would have thought that the heavenly phoenix flame would become excited instead? Whoosh! Its body, which was less than an inch long, suddenly lengthened to a full half a foot long. Then, it happily flapped its wings and flew around Song Chunhua, as if it was desperately calling out, "Come, come, pick me, pick me." However, Song Chunhua ignored him and turned to leave. The heavenly phoenix flame was anxious and hurriedly chased after her. It turned its head, spread its wings, acted cute, and danced. It even repeatedly wished that it could dive into Song Chunhua's energy reserve, but unfortunately, it could not do so. It must be guided by a martial artist's mystical qi. "Chunhua, stop right there!" Yang Dingtian shouted. Song Chunhua said coldly, "I've said it very clearly. I won't take this mystical flame. It's up to you whether you want it or not, but I definitely won't take it." "However, it has already chosen its master," Yang Dingtian said. "This is not up to it," Song Chunhua said. "This is an order," Yang Dingtian said. "This is a random order," Song Chunhua said. Suddenly, the two of them were in a deadlock. The little princess was extremely anxious at the side and said, "If you don't swallow it, it will dissipate. Don't waste it recklessly." "Of course, if you really don't want it, I will take it myself." Of course, the heavenly phoenix flame was even more anxious than the little princess. It acted coquettishly and acted cute, flew around and made a scene. It used all kinds of methods, but Song Chunhua was not tempted and did not guide it. If she did not want it, it would scatter into ashes and completely dissipate. Yang Dingtian stepped forward and approached Song Chunhua. Immediately, the heavenly phoenix flame straightened its wings and looked at Yang Dingtian warily, as if to say, "What do you want to do? You're not my cup of tea. Don't you dare take it. You saw it too. This heavenly phoenix flame is very wary of me. If I force it, something big will happen. It will make the mystical flame go berserk," Yang Dingtian said. Song Chunhua said, "Okay, then you don't have to take it. But I definitely don't want it. No matter what you say, I won't take it. I only know one thing. You need the mystical flame more than I do." Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, "Give me your hand. I'll tell you a possible secret." Song Chunhua stretched out her hand and Yang Dingtian wrote on her palm. He wrote about a dozen words. Immediately, Song Chunhua showed a look of disbelief and said, "Really? I'm not sure, but it's more or less like that," Yang Dingtian said. No wonder, no wonder." Song Chunhua said. "Now, you can swallow this heavenly phoenix flame without worry," Yang Dingtian said. Song Chunhua looked at Yang Dingtian for a while and nodded. "Hey, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you talking about?"
Yang Dingtian, you can't be so biased. You didn't tell us but told Sister Chunhua. Little Princess Vulture said discontentedly. "Shut up." Song Chunhua said, "Don't ask anything." Then, Song Chunhua looked at the heavenly phoenix flame and stared at it. However, the heavenly phoenix flame was obviously more anxious than her. It flew over with a whoosh and directly came to the tip of Song Chunhua's nose. Song Chunhua channeled a stream of mystical energy and was about to inject it into the heavenly phoenix flame. The heavenly phoenix flame desperately wanted to enter Song Chunhua's sea of qi, but it had no way out. At this moment, Song Chunhua just drew out a stream of mystical energy. Whoosh! It was completely impatient, as if it was afraid that Song Chunhua would go back on her words. It suddenly drilled into Song Chunhua's mystical energy. Boom! After it merged with Song Chunhua's mystical energy, the heavenly phoenix flame suddenly leaped up and turned into a flame that was a few meters tall. It cheered and surged. This was a mystical flame that had seen the world. It was more emotional than ordinary mystical flames. After it cheered and jumped enough. Boom! It suddenly exploded in the air and turned into thousands of strands of energy. It was really like the most beautiful fireworks. These thousands of strands of energy instantly dazzled the entire abyss. When the mystical flame that Qin Huayu swallowed earlier exploded into thousands of strands, it only filled the space of a few hundred meters. This heavenly phoenix flame, on the other hand, had a space of a few thousand or even tens of thousands of meters. Then, these thousands of strands of mystical flame energy drilled into Song Chunhua's body. Suddenly, Song Chunhua floated and sat cross-legged. She quietly swallowed and refined these thousands of strands of mystical flame energy. This would take another few hours. Yang Dingtian, Zhao Mu, and the little princess found a place to sit cross-legged in the vulture palace. At the moment, it was very safe. There was no need to guard Song Chunhua and Qin Huayu. The little princess was bored to death. There were a few times when she wanted to go to the main hall to play with Qin Ji, but she was too embarrassed to say it. Yang Dingtian was now somewhat glad that the little girl met him first. Otherwise, with her personality that did not distinguish between good and evil and only cared about having fun, if she played with people of the evil ways first, the entire vulture palace would probably follow her into the evil ways. At that time, Yang Dingtian would have no time to cry. "Brother, after we go back, I plan to close Horror Mountain Village," Zhao Mu suddenly said. "Why?" Yang Dingtian was shocked. "This is the foundation of your ancestors for hundreds of years." Zhao Mu said, "In the current situation, there are already things that are more important than our ancestors' foundation."
Boom! Then, a bright light suddenly burst out from his body. However, just as this bright light was about to explode, it was extinguished. Yang Dingtian felt a wave of regret in his heart. What a pity, what a pity. Qin Huayu was about to break through to the Grandmaster realm. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Sigh. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but sigh. If Qin Huayu had broken through to the Grandmaster realm, how shocking would it have been when he returned to Cloud Sky City? What a pity. At this moment, the sky suddenly rumbled and there was a burst of thunder. Then, the air in the entire abyss suddenly surged. Paw! A red bolt of lightning suddenly struck down. Song Chunhua's delicate body trembled. Then, a ray of light suddenly burst out. Boom! The fiery red light suddenly burst out from Song Chunhua's body. It exploded powerfully without the slightest bit of effort. Then, the ferocious flames instantly surrounded Song Chunhua. The light that shot out from Song Chunhua's body was so dazzling that no one dared to look directly at it. Good! Yang Dingtian hammered his fist. Song Chunhua had broken through to the Grandmaster realm. Although Yang Dingtian had long been mentally prepared, Yang Dingtian still couldn't help but feel a burst of excitement when he saw that Song Chunhua had broken through to the Grandmaster realm. Song Chunhua was undoubtedly the most loyal person to Yang Dingtian. She was the most determined person to fight against evil ways. Her breakthrough to the Grandmaster realm was undoubtedly a huge incentive for Yang Dingtian's career. This meant that Song Chunhua should be the second young expert to break through to the Grandmaster realm after Dongfang Bingling. Of course, although she was almost 10 years older than Dongfang Bingling, she was still of the same generation as Dongfang Bingling. At this moment, Qin Huayu opened his eyes and found Yang Dingtian immediately. "Brother, I almost broke through to the Grandmaster realm. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more." His words were full of excitement and regret. "But I'm already satisfied. I originally thought that I would need at least 3 or even 5 years to break through to the Grandmaster realm. I didn't expect that I would almost step into the Grandmaster realm today." Qin Huayu was full of excitement. Then, He saw the abnormality in Song Chuanhua's body and asked in surprise, "What happened to young Lord Song?" Little Princess Vulture couldn't wait to tell him what had happened. "Really?" Qin Huayu said excitedly, "That's great. Young Lord Song has broken through to the Grandmaster realm. It's really a big boost for us. This family and the world society are one step closer to us." Then, Qin Huayu said, "It's a pity. If only brother had swallowed this heavenly phoenix fire." Then, Qin Huayu said, "Brother, now that I've returned to Qin City to compete with Qin Chichi for this position, I'm full of confidence. At most next year, I'll be able to break through to the Grandmaster realm. This result is even better than my father's in the past. He should be satisfied." Immediately, Qin Huayu came in front of Yang Dingtian and knelt down on one knee with his sword in hand. He said, "I, Qin Huayu, swear once again that I will forever be loyal to the hidden sect's master, Yang Dingtian. I will forever be loyal to the Tiando League and will forever fight against evil ways. If I violate this oath, let the 2 moons and 2 suns destroy me. Let the chaotic land drown me. Let my ancestors be buried underground and never be reincarnated." Once he said this, little Princess Vulture was stunned. She looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. He's the hidden sect's master. How can it be? How can it be?" Yang Dingtian didn't bother about the little princess, Spirit Vulture, and helped Qin Huayu up and said, "Senior brother Qin, your current cultivation isn't enough to shock the entire Qin city. It isn't enough to convince all the vassals in Qin city. You have to break through to the Grandmaster realm. Only then will it be enough." "Grandmaster?" Qin Huayu said in shock, "I didn't break through to the Grandmaster realm after swallowing the mystic fire. I'm afraid it's impossible in a short time." Yang Dingtian took out a section of Naga mystic veins and handed it to Qin Huayu. He said, "You already have the mystic fire. Take this section of Naga mystic veins to cleanse your marrow and meridians. After you're done, go under the Saint Light Pillar and absorb the mystic chi. I believe it's enough for you to break through to the Grandmaster realm." Qin Huayu's eyes suddenly lit up. He pushed it away with both hands and said, "Brother, I can't take any more. I've already taken too much from you. I can't take any more. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for the Tiando League." Yang Dingtian said. "Yes." Qin Huayu took it with both hands. Yang Dingtian looked at Zhao Mu and said, "Brother Zhao, there's still one more section. I'll keep it for you. When you break through to the honorable martial artist level, use the Naga mystic veins to cleanse your marrow and meridians. It'll be twice the result with half the effort." Zhao Mu trembled. He bowed and said, "Yes." Immediately, the little Princess Vulture looked at Yang Dingtian with eagerness. Yang Dingtian touched her head and said, "I'm sorry, little girl. I've used up the Naga mystic veins. There's no more." The little girl immediately pouted. She wasn't really greedy. She was just a child. When she saw Yang Dingtian give something to others, she wanted a share. It didn't matter if this thing was precious or not. Qin Huayu found a jade platform and used his sword to carve a groove. Yang Dingtian gave him the best medicine and crystals. He also gave him the condensation pill to make the best medicine for cleansing his marrow and meridians. Then, Qin Huayu entered the medicine. Yang Dingtian's back was facing the medicine pool as he guarded Qin Huayu. Qin Huayu already had the mystic fire, so he didn't need Yang Dingtian to help him cleanse the Naga mystic veins. Huff, under the burning of the mystic fire, Naga's purple mystic veins suddenly turned into countless purple rays of light, dazzling the surrounding hundreds of meters. Then, these purple rays of light began to condense and condense. Finally, they completely condensed in Qin Huayu's palm. Puff! Then, he suddenly forced the energy of Naga's purple mystic veins into his own mystic veins. And Qin Huayu suddenly let out an incomparably painful sound. He didn't have the yin-yang qi transformation technique, so he needed to use the energy of Naga's purple mystic veins to cut his mystic veins inch by inch, from head to tail. Because the energy of the sacred water pill had seeped into the medicine and he also had the mystic fire, he didn't need to worry about his body exploding. But this kind of pain was completely indescribable. Time passed by minute by minute. Qin Huayu used the mystic fire to cut his own mystic veins inch by inch. Then, he used the Naga's purple mystic veins to transform his mystic veins inch by inch, transforming his qi. He endured hellish pain, but he didn't let out a scream from the beginning to the end. After a full 6 hours, Qin Huayu's hoarse voice came from behind Yang Dingtian. It was as if he had been reborn. "Brother, I've succeeded in cleansing my marrow and meridians. These Naga's mystic veins are extremely heaven-defying. They actually raised my mystic veins from the lower 8th grade to the upper 8th grade. Now, I feel as if I'm about to fly," Qin Huayu said. Yang Dingtian smiled slightly, then gently floated up and left the platform where Qin Huayu was. Qin Huayu stood up from the medicine pool. His whole body really looked as if he had been fished out of a pool of blood. He was in so much pain that his face was somewhat distorted. The pain he suffered was even more severe than Song Chuanhua's. Yang Dingtian flew to Song Chuanhua's side. At this moment, Song Chunhua opened her eyes slightly and said, "I've broken through to the master stage." "I know," Yang Dingtian said. "Not only have I broken through to the master stage, but I'm also a 2-star 8th grade master," Song Chunhua said. "What?" This time, Yang Dingtian was also surprised. This heavenly phoenix fire was so amazing. Not only did it help Song Chunhua break through to the master stage, but she was also a 2-star 8th grade master. In other words, this heavenly phoenix fire had helped Song Chunhua break through to the star level. How shocking was that? Of course, Yang Dingtian's million spirit demonic fire had helped him break through to the 16-star level. However, at that time, Yang Dingtian had only broken through to the martial ancestor stage from the martial Shen stage. It was incomparable to breaking through to the master stage from the martial revered stage. The energy needed to break through to the master stage from the martial revered stage was astronomical. It was hard to say whether the heavenly phoenix fire's special attributes were better than the million spirit demonic fires. However, in terms of pure energy, it definitely surpassed the million spirit demonic fire. Of course, it also surpassed the mystic fire that Qin Huayu had devoured. No wonder. After all, it was formed by more than 10 mystic fires. "How is Qin Huayu?" Song Chunhua asked. "He's very close to the master stage," Yang Dingtian said, "but I gave him the Naga mystic veins. It should be enough for him to break through to the master stage. We have 2 masters in our team now." Song Chunhua waved her fist and said. At this time, the little girl said from afar, "Yang Dingtian, Sister Chunhua and Qin Huayu are done. Let's go back. We should have passed the test. Let's go out." At this time, Qin Huayu's face seemed to have some unspeakable troubles. He looked at Yang Dingtian and hesitated. Song Chunhua said, "What is it that you can't say?" Qin Huayu said to Yang Dingtian, "Brother, there are some things that I don't know if I should say." Yang Dingtian walked over to Qin Huayu's side alone. "Brother, I vaguely feel that something is wrong. It has to do with the mystic fire that I devoured," Qin Huayu said. "All right, you don't have to say any more." Yang Dingtian stopped Qin Huayu and said, "I know what you want to say. I've been suspicious for a long time." "You already know?" Qin Huayu asked. Yang Dingtian nodded. "You also suspect?" Qin Huayu asked. Yang Dingtian nodded. "Then, what should we do?" Qin Huayu asked. "Now is the most critical and possibly the most dangerous time." Yang Dingtian said seriously, "The little girl is still young. Don't tell her anything. You and Song Chunhua bring them back to the first hall. Pretend that nothing happened and directly start absorbing the mystic qi." "What about you?" Qin Huayu asked. I'll go alone. Yang Dingtian said. No, everyone will go together. It's too dangerous for you to go alone. Qin Huayu said. Facing such a powerful existence, is there a difference between going alone and going together? Yang Dingtian said. This was an order. Return to the first floor of the main hall immediately and pretend that nothing happened. Qin Huayu was stunned, then he bowed and said, yes. Immediately, everyone followed the Devil Prison Cave's maze and returned to the Despair City's secret realm. Little Princess Vulture cheered, celebrating that she was going to leave this damned place and regain her freedom. She already knew that the Despair City's trial was over. What did Qin Huayu want to tell Yang Dingtian? He suspected that the mystic flame he swallowed was not the real demon spirit demonic flame. It might not even be a heaven and earth mystic flame.